Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsGamer, and welcome to the postseason. My name is Tuki, joined, of course, by Mr. Sim for the win, and today we begin our playoff journey here within the ECL's Elite Division. We started with 16 teams. We are down to 8, and so now we get to find out of these 8 just who will, end up being the best of the best for this winter season. But man, we got a long way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just the beginning of the long, long journey that will be this postseason. Of course, we're trying to get even more coverage in there than we have before in the Elite Division, and narratives are going to be shaped. Stories are going to unfold in this first matchup. I mean, a former hREDS player taking on his old team with his new club, and this hREDS team trying to get back to the top of that mountain and re-solidify that dynasty that they had not too long ago.
Tonight, we cover the first 2 games between Radical and hREDS, and a little bit later on as well, the Blackjacks and Tunnel Vision going head-to-head, the first 2 games of their series. With that, let's take a look at the final standings from this past regular season. Again, 30 games to get us to this point. It was, at the very end, Tunnel Vision securing that number 1 seed on tiebreaker over Strikers. So it was a mad dash to the finish there, but Tunnel Vision do take that number 1 seed. As we mentioned, they take on Blackjacks a little bit later on. And of course, the other matchups then. 2 versus 7, Strikers and Unwanted, and Yippee Voskala take on Vesa Pampa as well. But Sen, it was very interesting regular season, of course. You talk about a team like hREDS, a bit of a slow start. They finish 4th and, get home ice here over a team like Radical. But there's a lot of different talking points at, at the end of every regular season. But I feel like this season as well, it stuck out in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, the way this season kicked off too, just had a feeling that this was going to be slightly different. Uvascula came out of the gates hard, and them securing one of the top 3 spots is something that we weren't quite expecting. They essentially booted out hREDS from one of those, where we expect to see him in the top 3, likely 1 and 2. But right now it's held by Tunnel Vision, Strikers. Of course, Strikers, one of those teams trying to get back to the top of the mountain. Tunnel Vision, the team who was dominant throughout NHL 23. And then to see Vesa Pampa back in the playoff picture, Unwanted as well, who, they were all the way up, I want to say as high as 3 at one point. Of course, they finished their games earlier than most, but they're still able to hold on to a playoff berth. However, they have to go up against Strikers in that first round, which is no easy task. I'm sure, them, the Blackjacks, Vesa Pampa, they're glad to be here, but they have their work cut out for them for sure.
So we'll look, of course, as well at the bracket. We already talked about the matchups, but we will be following as much of the playoff action as we possibly can. Again, we started with 16. We are down to our final 8, and the road to the championship round begins. We talked about it all season long. NHL 23 was really Tunnel Vision's year, and here they are now as the number 1 seed. Sin looking to make it, would it be 3 in a row, dating back to the end of NHL 22? So,
and I believe 4 straight appearances, too,
yes.
If you think back to their days as Sabo and that crazy Game 7 overtime loss to hREDS at the time for our first live cast in Helsinki. And, man, I mean, they you could just tell they've been hungry for it there. And they want to try to keep it going. But, of course, a new game and like a new kind of, mechanics for that always kind of open the door for someone to take that spot. They did get that first seeding sort of by the skin of their teeth. We'll see if they can continue the dominance that they had in the last iteration of NHL.
So with that, let's take a look here at the team stats heading into this matchup. And of course, for the playoffs, it is a clean slate. Not sure if we have the regular season numbers here I hope we do, but yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. Sin, you get a look there at the numbers from these two clubs in the regular season. What stands out to you as we get ready for this opening round matchup?
Well, I know we don't have the 3 keys to success anymore, but I have one key of success for Radical. That's stay out of the box. They did not have a strong penalty kill in the playoffs, and you're going against one of the top power play teams here in hREDS. They're a very good cycle and puck control team anyway. But if you give him that man advantage, the deadly becomes disastrous very, very quickly. So if you're Radical, you've got to watch your sticks. You got to watch the discipline. It can be easy, of course, to want to be physical, but if you get carried away with a lot of those bumps, of course, we know the RNG penalties are in the game, and that can get you into some trouble.
Been a big difference over the last couple of months, just in terms of teams getting used to the way this game plays compared to 23. With that, we'll take a look now at the lineups for this matchup. Again, the first game of two, hREDS taking on Radical, the battle of 4 versus 5. And looking here at these lineups, of course, for Radical, the front three, Dillinger, Vire, and Harlow as the front three. Sisu and King of Apes on defense, Pelkinen in goal, and on the other side, it is the primary 6 for hREDS, Villapoika, Benito, and Nikki Dangles up front, Domi and Temu on defense, Vincere between the pipes. And heading into the playoffs, we always like to get the thoughts of certain players heading in to this matchup, and we were able to get a word with Radical's center in Vere. We'll throw it over to that interview now.
I'm here with Radical Captain Verde. Verde, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for this opportunity, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Absolutely, man. A pleasure to have you here with us. Your team in Radical, a great regular season, 18 wins in the 30 games you guys played, clinching that number 5 seed. What went behind some of the great success that you guys had during the regular season?
I think we had pretty good chemistry between every player in our team. We had lots of fun playing those games, and we got the momentum when we got few 6-point nights, and we started to believe in ourselves that we can really challenge the playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that really seemed to be impressive about you guys during the season was how balanced you were offensively. 4 of the players on your roster had 50 points or more during the regular season. What was behind the success that you guys found offensively?
I think we found pretty good balance between King of Apes attacking and us forwards replacing him when he step ups. So he's very talented towards the attacking side, so he can create lots of space for us other forwards to score. And yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned King of Apes, and I know you probably figured this question was coming, but obviously King of Apes going up against his former team in hREDS here for this quarterfinal series, all the success, all of the memories that he had over there. Is there that little bit of extra motivation to win this series for him, knowing all of the history and all of the emotion that's behind it?
Yeah, for sure. He always gets more excited to play his old teammates. And I think for everyone in this team, we want to prove that we can play good against Reds.
Looking at the defensive side of things, obviously hREDS, such a dominant offensive force, leading the league this season in both goals for and goals for per game. How big do you feel like defense and goaltending is going to be for you guys to have a chance to win the series?
The defense will be the most important thing that we need to be worried about. Covering the middle is the most important thing, and not let them get any counter attacks and or take any penalties. They are very good at utilizing the power play.
Absolutely. Just a couple more questions for you, Verde. Don't want to take up too much of your time. I know everyone knows about hREDS with the championships and the talent that they have, but what is it about your team and Radical that makes you guys believe that you can come in and not just compete, but even win the series?
I think we have played previously pretty good against them. Not in this season, but previously we know how they are going to play, and we know we can defend pretty well. We just need to capitalize on our chances and try to attack a little bit more. But I think our goaltender and defense is pretty good, so that is the main point.
And then just one more question for you, Verde. I know you guys have a lot of experience on this roster and a lot of talent, but what is it that you are looking forward to the most about not just this series, but this playoff run as a whole?
We are looking to gain some experience and learn some new stuff about these playoff games because they are so different than regular season games. Every game is so important, and every game is going to be so tight. So one mistake could cost everything. So we need to just try to learn from those games and gain some experience.
Absolutely. That 4 versus 5 matchup, always a ton of fun. I'm sure this one going to be no different. Verde, thank you again so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Tugi and Sin, we're going to send it back to you guys in the booth.
Well, big thank you there to B Mage. Sin, we heard from Verde. We get a look there at his regular season numbers, a very respectable output from him with 36 goals. But much like any other center in the league, you compare him head to head with Benito, and it looks a bit lopsided. But again, we can't count out Verde in this matchup here. It's just that Benito has been on an entirely different level above arguably anybody else within the elite division.
Yeah, if you have to grade on the curve, Benito's the guy you get mad at because he messes the curve up for everyone else, averaging 3 points to game. 3 points per game, excuse me, throughout the course of this season, 43 goals, 47 assists. I mean, just an outstanding production season for him. But as we know, he's a solid two-way player, and his face-off percentage may be one of the best marks at the end of the season that he's had in his career. He just continues to improve upon every single aspect of his game, and I don't know if he's ever going to plateau as a player. He just seems to just keep shattering every single milestone that he hits. Just tremendous job from him. But I think you said it the best. I mean, Vire is as best as anyone can, keeping pace. 36 goals, over a goal per game for a centerman. Not so often you see the more goal scoring centerman on a team, but Vire's got that. He has a respectable face-off percentage here. He has the opportunity to really give Benito a run for his money in this matchup.
Again, Benito leading the elite division within the regular season in terms of scoring, 90 points. Second highest was Eki with 77. So what a season there for Benito, obviously a featured player here. But we move over to that winger matchup here next. And again, some great talent here as well across the board. No real surprise. Dillinger, Harlow is 56 points apiece in 30 games. Again, a tremendous offensive output for Radical. But on the other side, maybe the most dynamic winger duo in the league. I mean, especially now. I mean, you focus on the tunnel vision boys as well, but you can never count out Villapoika and Nicky Dangles. 35 goals for Villapoika in the regular season. And then Nicky Dangles on the other side, again, was limited to just 10 regular season games, missed the first half of the season, and comes back in fine form. They have him for the playoffs. They're at full strength.
Yeah, and that is something that has to make other teams nervous. This hREDS team back to that full strength. Nicky Dangles one of, if not the most dynamic two-way wingers in the game, and we've had the privilege of watching the entirety of his career and his development through our time here in the ECL, and it's really incredible what he's been able to do as a player. We'll have to see if there is any sort of rust still from not getting too much game time, but with those numbers in the limited time, it really doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of rust coming in. He was goal per game, 13 assists, really, really solid, averaging 4.7 shots per game as well. But I love Dillinger and Harlow as well. This Radical team, as they said, they continued to gain confidence throughout the course of the season. All their forwards put up great points. The captain, Invide, led the way with his 61, but for Dillinger and Harlow to both have 56 points is very impressive. Dillinger loves to throw the body as well, loves to shoot. You need that from your wingers, the want to shoot, especially here at NHL 24, where shots are so much more important than they maybe were previously in NHL 23.
And of course, Nicky Dangle stepping in for Moja, who came over from Tunnel Vision, had 36 points in 20 games. So if something were to come up and they were to go with a lineup change, I mean, hey, they have good options no matter what. Looking at the defensive matchup here next, and maybe the most interesting aspect of this particular matchup, as Sisu and King of Apes in the lineup here for Radical. On the other side, it is Domi again, alongside Temu. And it's one of those interesting things, right? Because when we talked about hREDS control of the Elite Division, it was Domi and King of Apes side by side, who I don't know if we have seen a defensive combination be that effective in the Elite Division in our time covering it over the last 3 heading into 4 years now, where you had Domi as that perfect shutdown defenseman, with King of Apes, the active offensive defenseman, to step in and kind of be that fourth forward at times. And both of these teams now kind of still have that similar style. It's just very interesting to still, over a year removed now from these two guys being teammates, but it's still interesting to see them on opposite sides.
It really is. And also, if you remember, one of the years, Domi was not playing with hREDS, and King of Apes actually played with Temu. So he's paired up with both of these guys. Obviously, he had a more long-standing relationship on that team with Domi, but I remember for at least one season, it was King of Apes and Temu. I believe Temu was taking on the left-hand side of that point thing. And I mean, it just goes to show you that, all these guys incredibly flexible, but I think, for King of Apes, it's, he's really kind of facing the two guys that he was partnered with his former team. The storylines are incredible, of course, that, he ended the season with 52 points in those 30 games played. And at one point, we were kind of wondering, not if he still had it, but if he had maybe taken a step back in some of the scoring with the new team, because he had a slower start to the season. And then in typical King of Apes fashion, he just absolutely goes off and is sure to let everyone, including us, know on Twitter, thanking us, of course, for the reverse jinx on him for calling out his slow starter. And he's just had a monster year, somewhere we expect to see him, well over point per game, 52 points. I mean, 45 assists is absurd. And his now defensive partner in Sisu, younger, not as experienced, obviously, as himself or Domi and Temu, but has shown real promise at times. Went the entirety of the regular season without a goal. And, well, if it's any time to get your first goal, it would be, of the season, it would be in the playoffs for him. But, of course, it's just such a crazy matchup all the way across. Domi and Temu have turned into just such a dynamic pairing in the fact that you're now seeing, because they're playing in the roles that they are, they both have an incredible two-way game where they had to take a more defensive role when King of Apes was one of their partners, but now you're seeing that they can, shut things down and also contribute very well offensively.
And of course, our final head-to-head here, the battle of the goaltenders, as you had Finsere lining up here against Pelkinen. And Finsere is somebody, a former goaltender of the season, tremendous numbers in the past, comes over here to hREDS and still has very solid numbers. But again, Sim, we've seen that in terms of players stepping up from a good club to one of the perennial contenders, there's a different style. It's a different amount of shots and high quality chances that you are seeing, and that can be a difference. On the other side, though, for Pelkinen, I mean, an absolutely tremendous season. Somebody who will be in the mix and in the conversation for goaltender of the season, steps back into the elite division for the first time since ECL 9, only played 10 games there. So, hey, rookie status, is that still in the conversation? Maybe, maybe not. But at the end of the day, still an incredibly impressive showing this season.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on the point about the quality of shots versus the sheer volume of shots, each of these guys played 30 games. Pelkinen ended the season with 386 saves, to Finsete just having 260. So you can kind of see why the save percentage differential would be what it is, but make no mistake, both of these guys are the elite of the elite.
As we get a look here at the teams in the lobby, no real surprises. Of course, a lot of puck movers. The lone playmaker for hREDS being Benito down the middle. You do have Dillinger as the lone sniper in this matchup as well. Again, it is the first 2 games of this opening round playoff matchup, Radical and hREDS. A reminder of what these teams are playing for. You win one playoff round, you're in the money no matter what. And we'll see which one of these teams are able to secure that prize, at least for making the Final Four, if not, of course, a little bit beyond that. And again, later on, Tunnel Vision are now 2-time defending champions. The journey for the three-peat continues. They have their first 2 games against our 8th seed in the Blackjacks a little bit later on, as well as we kick off playoff action here within the Elite Division. It is Radical and hREDS going head-to-head here as we kick things off. hREDS in the home red. We'll see how this one goes. Crucial for Radical here to get a good start. As in, we talk about the history of hREDS here, even with some lineup changes. It's one of the best, if not the best example of a team where if they score first and force you to play their style, it's very difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, and you could already see it starting right there on that last attack when they the reset of Radical came through. hREDS were just all lined up on the blue line and immediately snuffed that break in.
Arlo kicks back to the point. King of Apes tries to get a shot through. That was a good block there by Benito. These 2 up to the wall. It's King of Apes leading the charge. hREDS attacking zone here. Benito for Teemu. Working with Domi. Continue to work the perimeter. Nearly lose it there. Domi tries to go in front. Ends up out of the zone. Teemu holds that puck in. Villapoika knocked down to the ice. An offside call here.
Couple kind of close calls, not really A-grade chances, but there's a few plays developing for hREDS, which really could have turned out to more. That last one in particular, where it passed down low to Villapoika, who it looked like was about to cut to the middle to dodge that defenseman and have a really good shooting lane. He just got bodied off the puck, so it's really tight right now, as we expect early on here in the playoffs.
Dillinger kicks back for Sisu. King of Apes, able to work it into space. The one-timer blocked. Thought he might take a shot on it there himself. Over the line. Benito between the legs. Trying to hold on to it. Centering feed. All the way out to the other side. Teemu avoids that double team pressure. Benito, great patience. Villapoika maybe wanted that wraparound. King of Apes was there. We talk about certain players that are almost specialists at certain things. Villapoika is still probably the most dangerous person behind the net and towards the side of goal with the way he's been able to sneak pucks in. Benito now. Bit too much pressure. Able to win it back with Nicky Dangles. Working with Domi. Teemu's shot doesn't get through. Nicky Dangles' shot blocked as well. Turnover here. Villapoika. Nicky Dangles somehow does not bury that one. It goes out to the other side. He has another chance here. Kicks back to the point. Full pressure here for the first time for hREDS. Nicky dangles, low shot, Villapoika tried to sneak it through, and a wake-up call for Radical.
That's another place that Villapoika is so dangerous. When he's hovering around the net, he always seems to be able to pick up those loose pucks, and some people have gone so far as to, call him lucky at times, but I don't think so. I mean, he just knows where to be in position, and this is danger territory for Radical now. hREDS heating up.
Backhand shot on by Benito, swallowed up there from Pelkinen. 18 seconds left on the full pressure. Big face-off here. You saw that face-off number. Got the pregame, of course. Relatively close battle, but hREDS able to win this draw. Emu shot saved. The big rebound was there. It's out of reach of Villapoika. Domi. All the way to the other side. Benito. Back for Teemu. Full pressure's up. Teemu trying to hold on to this one. Nicky dangles, stripped to the puck. Now Dillinger, you can see, still gassed. Couldn't really break into the attacking zone. hREDS really taking control of the game as the period's gone on. Looking for that opening goal. Dangles tried that crafty pass to Benito. Sisu was there to take it away. Harlow over to Dillinger. Loose puck, and again, quickly, Radical out of possession and unable to get established in the zone. Miscommunication here, though, gets them the puck back. King of Apes pass off the mark. Final minute of this first period. Game 1 between these two teams. Of course, the series scoreline in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Here's Harlow. 4 seconds to work with. Domi takes it away immediately. Offside here on hREDS with 2.4 to go.
Well, advantage in this period has to go to hREDS. They've gotten, well, you can see there, a heck of a lot more time on attack, a few more chances. It's just been hard for Radical to break it in cleanly here, and you got to start thinking about what sort of adjustments that they may want to make here heading into the second period, because it just wasn't really working. It's what you kind of expect to see out of hREDS, particularly in this playoff scenario, is a red wall at the blue line, and they're just so good. Even if you get it across the blue line, it's the support that comes in from the defensemen who kind of siphon back a little bit and then cut off the angles if they do make it by, that first line of defense. It's just such a hard trap to break, and I mean, you can see it right there. 0 shots registered for Radical. They had a few attempts, and some good attempts too, at least early on, that were blocked here, but they've got to find some kind of way of getting it into the zone, alternative means, because what they were trying to do in that period just didn't work. And if they continue along those lines the rest of this game, I don't think it's going to work out too well for them. They have to find some way to get it in, whether it's a dump and chase, maybe some, speed rushes down the wing and do a slap shot around the boards, just try to, catch the defense flat-footed, something here to get behind that blue line trap of hREDS.
Second period underway here. Of course, the action, as always, brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. A very early chance there for Villapoika, stopped by Pelkinen. Another face-off in the attacking zone. You see the split there, 4-2 in favor of Benito. hREDS have the puck here. Get right back. They're settling into the attacking zone, but they need that goal. King of Apes able to find that puck. And again for Radical, not able to get set up in the attacking zone. As we know, Sin, offensive, time on attack and that offensive presence is nice, but if you don't have the goal, it doesn't matter. As Radical strike first, case in points, Vera has the opening goal of this series.
That was a really pretty break-in right there. They feigned as if they were going to go to the middle. You see the speed rush right there. Instead, they kick it off to Harlow, slightly on the outside instead of going to Vide, and Harlow's the one who kicks it back to Vide, with a defender on his back, still gets the shot away, buries it, and Radical are the team to strike first, 1-0. That's exactly what they needed, Tugi.
36 goals in the regular season. And strikes first here in the playoffs. Penalty called here, though. hREDS will go to the power play unless they score on this possession. Down low, you see the heavy collapse from Radical. Extra attackers out. Finsere to the front of goal. Jumps over that puck. Stopped by Pelkinen. Full pressure here. Vilipoika tried the short side. That one stopped. Power play coming up. We'll get a look here at the elbowing penalty.
Yeah, this is exactly what we said they didn't want to have happen. They had a sub 70% on the PK in the regular season, going up against the 30+% power play of hREDS there. Not necessarily a bad hit, but we mentioned it with the RNG penalties, have to be careful. So hREDS starting off the power play with full pressure. This is a tough situation for Radical.
Shot there, glove save by Pelkinen. Tested a few times in this game, continuing to stand tall for his team. So you mentioned it, the shots that he faced compared to Finsere. It was just his comfort zone in a sense, like he's used to having to make a good amount of saves. Makes another one there, denying Vilipoika. Another shot, that one's deflected. And hREDS have tied the game. Benito gets a piece of it and a power play goal.
Net front presence, but more importantly than that, quick puck movement, and even more importantly is body movement as well. You can't just stand still and cycle the puck. You have to move your feet, move the puck. That's exactly what hREDS did right there, completely making Radical, look like as if they were standing still. A combination of that full pressure mechanic and just the sheer speed at which hREDS was moving the puck. They get that shot from the point as Benito finds a tiny bit of a soft spot in the high slot, deflects it home, and we have a tie game.
The regular season leading scorer had 43 goals in the regular season, and he opens up the scoring for hREDS here in the postseason. So we are tied at 1, a costly penalty. Takes away that momentum for Radical. Domi into the attacking zone for hREDS. Switches with Vilipoika. That's Benito working the corner. Tried to find Nicky Dangles. Harlot was there to pick it off. Stretch pass, nobody home. That'll be an icing call.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication right there. Looked like that's where he wanted to go. Dillinger just didn't quite react to it in time. A split second earlier, if he gets going on his horse, they could have made that pass and would have had a good chance to break it in.
He dangles the shot. Good save there. Or Pelkinen, that stretch pass just out of the reach of Dillinger, who could not pick it up. He dangles back. Tried to work with Domi there. Again, we've seen it so far. Clean shots against tough to beat a goaltender like Pelkinen. You need that traffic in front, those deflections. There's Domi. Big pass there. Would not find its intended target. Domi in control now. Vilipoika, great movement at the line. Benito. Around. Sisu able to pick it off. Sends Radical down the other way. They have numbers if they can move quickly enough. King of Apes to the forehand. And again, finds Sisu the shot blocked. Fury to Harlow. Blocker save by Finsere. Hasn't had too much work to do in this game so far. Radical finally getting some zone time. Tough shot there. Handled by Finsere. That one off the pad. Radical, when they do get established, can look dangerous in the offensive zone. It's just been difficult to get that zone time as they're offside here.
And some of their passes right now are just absolutely gorgeous. That one especially on the transition, a backhand no-look pass to start the rush the other way. I mean, that's one way to not let hREDS get established in their trap, is to just start it immediately, and it's seeming to work for them. They're getting all kinds of zone time.
hREDS back in control. Teemu stepping up into the play. The spin to hold on to possession. Couldn't do it. Sisu was there. Finds Dillinger, and they're offside again. The miscommunications at the blue line as they're desperate to find some space.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that, but could have been a misinput there. I think if he went into that kind of hustle thing where he pushes the puck ahead, maybe could have been onside in that situation, but that's what it is here in the playoffs. It's a game of inches.
Domi back to the forehand. It was low to Villapoika. Again, hREDS. For that quality chance in the middle, they just can't find it. Arlo bumped off the puck. Domi is his pass intercepted by King of Apes. King of Apes stepping in, bumped off by his former teammate. Domi trying to win that battle. He does. Final 8 seconds here of the second period. Teemu head of steam. Taken away by a Radical. Dillinger for Harlow. One more shot attempt. That is blocked. A goal apiece in the second period, but we are tied heading into the final 20 minutes.
And that was a much, much better period for Radical than the first was. They really sort of came into their own, not only got the goal, but after that, they were able to really kind of, get the time on attack that they needed. Start bringing that number back into balance, so to speak. And I feel like, if that first period went, heavily in the favor of hREDS, I think that second one I would give to Radical slightly. They really looked good as it wore on. They got a lot of good zone time and time and attack. I mean, the numbers doesn't look great in their favor, but you got to remember the power play that hREDS had where they spent the entirety of it in the zone before they scored here. So if you're Radical here, you're doing a lot of things good, and the most important thing is you're not trailing hREDS headed into the third period, because we know just how deadly that can be when hREDS can go full clamps and just suffocate teams.
Here we go. Third period about ready to begin. Ooh, we'll grab the advantage in this one. Again, we are covering the first 2 games of this series. A little bit later on, the battle of 1 versus 8. Tunnel Vision and the Blackjacks. Their first 2 games. He dangles in control. Good movement here with Teemu. Villapoika down low. As Benito. And the defense for Radical able to hold on. Viray over the line. Dillinger kicks back to Sisu at the point. Throws one on. Shown a willingness to do that throughout this game. Like Sin mentioned, the only defenseman in this matchup without a goal in the regular season. And hREDS able to snuff out that attack before it even really gets going. Off the skates of Teemu, puts Domi into a tough spot, skates into space, back to the forehand. They continue to work, I'd say primarily the King of Apes side of things. Shot shoveled on, was stopped. Apes has it again. It's poked away. Arlo takes his time. Good movement here. King of Apes gains the line. Pass intercepted by Domi. A battle right now between these two teams to gain control. One mistake will be all a team needs is Villapoika, the buffered shot. Teemu, the interception, couldn't hold on to it. Again, hREDS able to shut things down at their own blue line.
Yeah, it was a beautiful poke before they even reached the blue line right there.
It's Sisu for Harlow. Another save there by Finsere. Domi takes a hit. King of Apes here. 1-on-3. Still driving in. Found the spin pass to Vire. So it's one of those things, if we did an ECL Elite Division yearbook and had to hand out superlatives, the person who you'd have to say has the most confidence is King of Apes.
Absolutely, and why not when you're as good as he is? I can't believe he made that pass connect.
Benito, that shot. Villapoika banks it off the back of the net. Full pressure here for hREDS. They're back in control. Domi trying to find some space. Teemu the shot. Good save by Pelkinen. King of Apes chips it up ahead for Dillinger. hREDS able to swarm. Benito to Teemu. Back to him. 6 seconds left in the pressure. Domi the low shot. Sisu there to handle the rebound. And again, Radical will survive.
That was dangerous too. After Pelkinen made the save, he fell down on his backside too. If someone was there for the rebound on hREDS, that's a goal.
As a rebound, they score. hREDS have the breakthrough. Right place, right time for Villapoika.
Well, if you don't succeed on that same play the first time, try it again. You see right there, unfortunately for Pelkinen, so gassed at the end of that full pressure after making the initial save, cannot react and get back for the rebound. Villapoika does what he does best, and that's right place, right time. Jumps on the rebound, tucks that home, and that is a late third period goal for hREDS to put them up by 1.
See what the response is here from Radical. 5 minutes left in regulation. They did strike first in this game. hREDS the last 2 goals, looking to get that insurance tally as Benito threw it on. Dillinger now trying to break through. This time to the line, but a penalty called. Radical going to the power play with 3:18 remaining.
I mean, that's absolutely huge right there. That was a failed break-in, and I didn't even see the infraction. I'm going to try to get a better look of the replay here to see where this trip happened. Oh, just before he passed. Okay, that was kind of a sloppy play from Villapoika, considering they were about a mile offside. We'll see what Radical can do with the man advantage.
Off the face-off, they are in control. King of Apes, the one-timer, into traffic, doesn't get through. Has it again. Inches in. Finds Harlow, and again back to King of Apes. Looking across for Dillinger. They wanted that 1T again. The lone sniper of the matchup. That pass off the mark. Temu able to send it down, and they're halfway through this kill.
Huge clearance right there, but really good patience and vision. King of Apes, trying to get that to Dillinger, just couldn't handle the pass thanks to the pressure coming from the hREDS defense. And then this is the problem when you lose the zone. Even with a man down, hREDS still very good at holding that blue line here. And God, just look at the shot volume. It doesn't feel that lopsided the way the chances have sort of gone at times, but hREDS just doing what they do best.
Apes in control, just 15 seconds left on the man advantage. Dillinger to Sisu at the point. We're back to 5-on-5. Kick save by Finsere as we approach the final minute. Again, only the real-time 30 seconds at the end of a period. Here's Benito tried to between the legs to get into space. Radical running out of time. Villapoika in control for hREDS, takes a huge hit. Nikki dangles, has space to work with. Down low for Benito and back again. Vire has it. Sisu, miscommunication there. I'm not sure what happened. hREDS send it all the way down. 1.3. It's not technically over yet, but they need to be perfect in terms of their execution off the draw.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened. It kind of just looked like Sisu bobbled the pass, but then it looked like a sauce that he didn't get enough on. I'm not too sure, but...
A little bit surprised to see the center go backhand there. Thought there might have been a forehand sweep to the left wing.
And non-aggressive, too. Yeah.
hREDS secure the victory in game number 1. As Radical only able to sneak away with that lone goal, and it was not enough. hREDS strike first, and Villapoika, the winning goal. We'll get another look at it.
And there it is once again. Pelkinen was just unfortunately gassed from all the full pressure and the sheer shot volume that he faced, but that's the advantage. If you do what hREDS did in this game and pepper the goaltender with shots, take advantage of all that zone time, even if you don't score all the time. You see what peppering a goalie with shots does in that scenario. He was completely drained of stamina. He couldn't recover after that initial shot, and some people may disagree with the mechanic, but it is what it is, and that's what makes taking shots and applying pressure and cycling the puck in the O-zone and forechecking. It makes it so valuable. You can tire the other team out. And essentially, that's what hREDS did in this game, as they wore their opponents down. And because of that, they're getting a 2-1 win in game 1.
21 shots to 6, the final count in favor of hREDS. And look, there's no denying that the old meta, as you see a heck of a jump there from Benito, there's no denying that the old meta of zone time leading to, that's the old replay there, we love it. There's no denying that zone time leading to nothing but high quality chances can still be effective. But Sin, like you said, at the end of the day, it's a different game, and it is about getting that full pressure up, tiring out the other goalie to force those less than desirable save animations, which means you're more likely to score. And we saw it there from hREDS. They were, one, able to establish themselves in the offensive zone to wear down the other goaltender. But man, they also played the blue line so well down the other way.
Yeah, I mean, as we expect to see from hREDS after all this time, they're just a tremendous defensive team who also is really good offensively, and it's tough when you have such a good defensive product in front of you where you're always kind of mentioning that, and it almost feels like sometimes the offense gets put on the back burner, but it can't. You just saw what they were able to do. They didn't get a whole lot of goals, but the time and attack, the shot volume, just the way they passed, the way they moved the puck around, the way they moved themselves around, they were always working as one right there. And that's really the strength of hREDS, is that when they're playing out there, any player on the ice can almost feel like it could be anyone. I mean, they're just that good.
Well, before that first game, we heard from the center of Radical in Vire. Well, now it's time to hear from the center of hREDS, as we'll throw it once again back to B Major, as he got a word with Benito before these games began.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
I am here with hREDS captain Benito. Benito, first of all, Happy New Year to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. You know, you look at this hREDS team, obviously all of the history and the pedigree that you guys have, winning those 3 straight championships, being arguably the most dominant team throughout the world for the last few years. But obviously with Tunnel Vision winning the last couple of championships and the lineup still being pretty similar from the lineups you guys had in the past. You know, tell us a little bit why hREDS is still such a dominant threat all these years later.
Well, I think we have improved a lot from the last season. I think our game has evolved a lot, and I think we have a much better chance this year to win than last year. Last year we had all kinds of problems, and I think this year we are destined to win again.
Yeah, what are some of those improvements that you've seen this team make between this season and last season?
I think it's just mostly improving everything that we have been used to doing, but doing it just better now. And I think we have just, as I said, evolved a lot in our own game, and I think that's just improving everywhere.
Absolutely, man. And something you guys have been stellar on so far this season is really everything offensively. hREDS led the league in goals for per game. They were second in shots, and you guys are also second in the league in power play percentage. You even at your own personal success leading this team or leading this league even in points. How does hREDS continue to be so dynamic offensively season after season?
Well, I think we have adapted to the new game pretty well, as we usually do. And personally, I think I had the best regular season of my career, so it helped us a lot, and hopefully we can keep it up in the playoffs.
Yeah, speaking of the playoffs, you guys are set to go up against the number 5 seed in Radical, a team that obviously is impressive, has played some of their better hockey down the stretch, but you guys had your way with them in the first 2 regular season meetings, winning both of those games. What do you feel like hREDS needs to do to replicate that success that you had against them in those 2 games?
I think it's just us focusing on our game, and I don't think they will be much of a threat to us. Since I think we have been playing pretty well recently, so it's just us playing our game and not giving them an inch. at all in the games. So I think that's just most of it.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, I'm sure you had maybe an idea this question was coming, but obviously, one of the biggest stories that people are going to be so interested in this series is one of the former leaders on your team, King of Apes, playing against you guys in this series. Is there any bit of extra motivation from this group to come in and not just win this series, but win in a more dominating fashion, considering the history that you guys all have together? And a lot of the guys on this hREDS team were teammates with him winning those championships?
Yeah, it's definitely a nice thing to play against a former teammate. I think it just adds a little spice to the games from both sides. So it'll be definitely a series to remember.
Absolutely. Just a couple more questions here for you, Benito. I know that obviously this playoff bracket, arguably one of the deeper ones that we've seen in a long time. But again, you guys having so much success and so much experience, what do you believe it is that separates this hREDS team from the rest of the competition?
I think we are the most versatile team of all. I think we can adapt the fastest out of any team, and at the same time, our own game is, I think, the strongest. We have, as I said, a lot of versatility in our game, so it's definitely a big advantage going forward. And I think we have a lot of experience, and that always helps. And I think it's just a mix of those things and just being a great team with good on and off ice chemistry. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely, man. Well, with all the success you guys have had so far this season, not many doubts in anyone's mind that you could replicate that here in the playoffs. Benito, thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything that you want to say or want to talk about that I didn't ask you?
Not really. Nothing is coming up.
All right, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck during the series.
Thank you.
All right, 2 games in. We'll send it back up to you guys.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. Again, a big thank you to B Major for getting a word in with the captains of this particular matchup. Although, Sin, as you said a few minutes ago, not more, you don't need any more words than are needed, though. You keep it simple, concise, and to the point, as Benito did there at the end. But hREDS taking game one by the score of 2-1 in regulation. They gave up that first goal after a lot of offensive zone time. They get caught on the counterattack, but then they make up for it as that continued pressure earns them the win. I'm very intrigued to see what happens in this one, as obviously Radical need to find a way to really get that offensive zone time a little bit more consistently. Sin, take it away as I fight off this sneeze.
Yeah, I mean, they started out kind of on their heels a little bit. They couldn't break the puck into the zone. They had a little bit of trouble, retrieving pucks in their defensive end. And that's something that hREDS did really well throughout the entirety of that game, is that when you saw Radical get a chance on, and if it was blocked especially, hREDS were the first to the puck. On the flip side, if hREDS got some chances, they were often in the O zone, the ones to retrieve that puck first. And that's so important, puck retrieval. You have to be able to get those secondary and tertiary chances.
So again, you get a look at what these teams are playing for. Sin, I don't know if you noticed the bottom right-hand corner while they were in the lobby. I saw
2 milliseconds ping. Yeah,
I saw 1.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's nice. It must be good. 75 ping for life here.
Oh my goodness. We're very familiar with it at this point, but we will never not be jealous in terms of that particular setup there with the server connection. But with that, we are ready to go. Game number 2 between hREDS in their road whites here, taking on Radical. And it is the first 2 games of this quarterfinal matchup. A little bit later on, we cover the first 2 games between the 1 and 8 seed, our defending champions, and Tunnel Vision taking on the Blackjacks. And Sim, we have a very early penalty call here against King of Apes.
That's exactly what they didn't need to do right here. King of Apes sitting 4-2 on for interference, just a little bit too aggressive right there. Again, thought that pass was coming down low. It's a decent prediction, but unfortunately for him, he's going to the box, and this is not what you want to see. hREDS with that strong power play against a weaker penalty kill, an opportunity to go up early in this one.
Quick movement here. And Domi working the point. Domi with the switch. Teemu can't get it through. Nicky Dangle's not able to grab that puck. Does have it now. Domi in front. Great chance there for Villapoika. They found that space. Full pressure here. Domi wanted Villapoika. That was a great pickoff and clear by Harlow.
Yeah, that was crucial right there. That's that odd angle 1T that we've seen so much of throughout the course of this season, and nearly leading to a goal there.
Pelkinen stretched for that one, didn't get caught. Nicky Dangles throws it on. One-timer blocked. We are back to 5-on-5. Of Apes. Get back into his position. Villapoika, what a pass! Finds Nicky Dangles. And while they didn't convert on the power play, it was the aftermath of it. Nicky Dangles strikes first for hREDS.
And that's what we call a power play influenced goal right there. They maintained the pressure, and again, you're just seeing the puck retrieval, the tenacity of hREDS when they're on the attack. They just refuse to lose possession of that puck. It was bouncing around in the slot towards the side of it when Villapoika got it, sent it across to Nicky Dangles, who was able to get that body position and tucked it home. hREDS go up 1-0 early on in this game too.
Teemu up ahead for Benito. Able to find the breakthrough on this one, make it 3 unanswered goals for hREDS in this series. Here's Villapoika. Bumped off the puck. Nicky Dangles finds Domi as he crosses the blue line. Benito the feed in front. hREDS still in control. Benito. Villapoika, great glove save there by Pelkinen. And you saw the desperation there. Half a stamina bar here for Pelkinen as hREDS continue to wear down the defense. 17 seconds left of full pressure. Teemu across, pass off the mark. Puck intercepted there by Dillinger. He doesn't clear. Villapoika's shot, good shoulder save. And finally, the puck is cleared out. It will be an icing call, but full pressure's alleviated.
Yeah, and they get a little bit of stamina back. I mean, you got to think all of their bars were completely drained at the end of that, including Pelkinen's down in the red here. Radical got to relieve this pressure.
Off the draw, it is hREDS right back in control. Chance for Nicky Dangles. Still has it. Benito to Domi. Kept in by Teemu. Ure picks that off again. hREDS relentless on the forecheck. Good chance for Villapoika. Full pressure again for hREDS. Domi shot saved by Pelkinen. Benito. To Domi, that one clips the post. As Harlow unable to clear it all the way out. Benito shot just wide. Villapoika, Nicky Dangles throwing everything at the net, but they can't find the breakthrough.
This is an absolute siege right now by hREDS. They just are not letting Radical out of the zone whatsoever and just peppering Pelkinen with shots right there. Another one-timer from the point. Pelkinen just swallows it up. Just trying to slow things down a little bit here, but Radical just struggling in the face-off dot, struggling to clear the puck.
Off the face-off, Villapoika. That shot stopped again by Pelkinen. 5:40 to go in the period. Benito's shot denied as well. That's now 10 shots in the period for hREDS, but here's Dillinger. He finds some space. Domi able to recover. Radical try to get something going here, but you can see, I mean, only one person down in the zone at that point as well. You can kind of see from Radical, it's a situation where I think they don't want to get caught. And these odd man rushes down the other way, but it's really hindering their ability to get some offensive zone time. They move across and a goal. Villapoika has his second of the series, and hREDS double up their lead, make it 2-0 here in the first period.
That was an absolute blast of a one-timer. You'd think he's using gold 1T right there, but I'm pretty sure he's still on that puck mover that he had before and just picks it into that left-hand corner. Beautiful, beautiful play off of the rush, and that's something that we've been sort of wanting to see a heck of a lot more in the European scene, and we have been seeing it more, particularly over the course of the last 2 seasons, those high zone one-timers off of the rush. And I mean, we saw in the World Finals just how well it worked for Entourage against Tunnel Vision, and it's being picked up by the EU scene now a little bit, and look at the result.
Final 90 seconds here of the first period. Benito lofts one that's intercepted by King of Apes. hREDS still on the attack. Villapoika nearly found Nikki Dangles. Dillinger, final chance here for Radical to maybe steal one back. It's picked off. Villapoika will not have the time. A dominant period from hREDS as the first comes to a close.
Yeah, dominant may even be an understatement. That was... I don't even know if there's an adjective that fits for the way that hREDS played that period. I mean, we talked about, you know, how Radical had to come out on their toes. They take the early penalty. They you know, surrender an early goal. They give up another, and it's just from bad to worse from game 1 to game 2. And just look at the numbers. They kind of speak for themselves. Less than a minute of time at attack for Radical. No registered shots. And hREDS had over 6 minutes and 11 shots. I mean, this is a team that is hungry to get back to the top of the mountain, and this is a 4 versus 5 matchup, and it's right now looking more like a 1 versus 8 in the way it's playing out. Radical has to find some kind of answer quickly.
We get ready here for the second period of play. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalon Lockerty. It is game 2, quarterfinal matchup. hREDS and Radical, of course, as you see in the top right. hREDS taking game 1, 2-1 in regulation. They already have 2 goals on the board here in this one. It's going to take a strong pushback from Radical. See if they can do so. Finally getting some zone time here. Harlow's shot doesn't get through. He had 4 bodies in front, 3 of them. An hREDS uniform, the extra pass from Villapoika. Close, very, very close. Nikki Dangles for Benito. Down low in the corner, Villapoika tried to find Nikki Dangles again. So close. Sisu in control for Dillinger. Apes, one-timer, they score! A sign of life from Radical. They have their first goal of this game. Great way to start the second period.
I mean, that is absolutely huge what they needed right there. Getting that puck finally to Dillinger with that gold 1T in the high slot. It kind of starts on the transition right there. Harlow gains the line, does the spin. No one attacked him though, but it's the quick passing from, you know, from down low, back up high, back down low, and then across right there. Kind of froze the hREDS defense a little bit, and they're able to get that one home. So now it's just a 1-goal deficit. They can get another quick one. You never know.
Puck down low in the corner, kicked back for Nikki Dangles. Let's see the response from hREDS. And it was nearly instantaneous. Benito in front on the deflection. And it's hREDS back up by 2.
His second deflection goal in as many games looks very similar to the one that was scored in the previous one. It's the, well, not a D-to-D pass in this case. It's Nicky Dangles over to Teemu, who rips that one, and Benito once again in the high slot, deflecting that one over the shoulder of Pelkinen. And unfortunately for Radical, they're right back to where they started this period, down by 2.
Teemu back over. Villapoica for Benito, and again back. Dillinger was able to take that one away. hREDS right back in. Penalty called. Nicky Dangles denied on a great opportunity. It goes from bad to worse here for Radical. hREDS not done, though, on this possession. Fincere out as the extra attacker, but of course, as is tradition, the puck is quickly touched up. Another penalty called, this time a cross-check.
Yeah, and this is just going from bad to worse for Radical here. This was the key in this one, you know, considering the 1 weak point for Radical in the regular season was the PK. They had to stay out of the box. This is their 3rd minor penalty now in this series so far, and I believe they've surrendered a goal on... Oh, well, not the one in this one, in this game, but they've surrendered at least 1 power play goal so far.
Sisu unable to clear. Teemu picked it off, earns his club full pressure. Good movement. When will they pull the trigger? There it is. Saved by Pelkinen. Second shot shoveled towards goal. Sisu can't clear. Teemu able to hold it in. Domi to Villapoica. Good save there by Pelkinen. Swing and a miss on the clearance attempts. Vire picked off. Great glove save. Villapoica denied again.
That was not the pass to make.
Teemu's shot blocked. King of Apes in trouble. Has to send it down, and rightfully so. I mean, they're on the penalty kill. They do survive. We're halfway through the second. hREDS in control of this game. Penalty called again. As hREDS, unless they score here, will go right back on the man advantage. Teemu unable to hold it. Fincere's efforts again go to waste. Another penalty called. This time it's Vire to the box.
And every goaltender around the world lets out yet another groan as right as they get on the ice. They're immediately back in the goal there. But yeah, that's a tough situation. That was not a bad play to make. Unfortunately, just kind of hit the wrong guy in that kind of confusion at the blue line. So hREDS once again another chance on the man advantage.
They have the puck here off the faceoff. That pass doesn't get through. Sisu trying to get that puck out. He can't do it. Benito between the legs. Back for Nicky Dangles. What a great chance. Full pressure again. Teemu scores. Picking the corner. Power play goal for hREDS. And Radical are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that was filthy from Teemu right there. The patience on display. Dodges the bump and then gets the angle. He goes around Harlow right there with his stick positioning to open up the shooting lane and goes bar and in. And in the course of that, another penalty was taken by Radical. They're back on the PK. I didn't see the infraction.
I didn't either. 4-1, and now another power play for hREDS. Benito can't get that one through. King of Apes up ahead for Vire, fresh out of the box. Can't make anything happen here. Domi holds up. They do gain the line. Benito, what a great save by Pelkinen, keeping this game within their reach. I mean, if you want to call it that. I mean, hey, being down by 3 is certainly a hell of a lot better than being down by 4.
Definitely. I mean, he's really had to. He's just been busy throughout the entirety of this series, really, but especially in this game. I mean, he's gotten no reprieve.
Benito at the point. 15 seconds left on this man advantage. Villapoica's shot into the glove of Pelkinen. We are back to 5-on-5.
Well, it's survival right now. That's what it feels like for Radical. They're just surviving. They've got to find a way to start attacking the game, but now it's time's their biggest enemy, and this is what hREDS do so well. They get the advantage, they build on it, and then they suffocate you. Guess who?
Right place, right time. Villapoika has another, and hREDS are running away with it here in game 2.
I mean, yet another DDD kind of one-time play, shot play, Pelkinen down and out because what? He's just so gassed again. He's been facing so many shots in this game. He's had no opportunity to get his stamina back up. Villapoika finds himself right where that rebound's bouncing once again. And it is a 5-1 game now. Radical, it's just getting out of hand for them.
Sin, like you mentioned, I mean, it almost seems more like a battle of a 1v8 as opposed to a 4v5 here. As Radical have just not really been able to get it going. Outscored 7-2 so far, and we've only played, well, less than 5 periods so far in this one. As you see the huge hit there at the line by Teemu.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, while the numbers were in favor of hREDS, I did like a lot of the chances and opportunities that Radical had in that one, and they only lost by 1, you know, gives a lot of hope, but in this one, hREDS is just completely taken over here, and feels like we haven't had to call out Finsette's name unless he's, not able to get off the ice on the delayed penalty. Yeah, hasn't really been busy whatsoever as we see some extracurriculars after the whistle there.
24 shots to 1 in favor of hREDS so far. Radical again, 1 shot, 1 goal, much like the last game. I mean, you likely favor hREDS heading into this matchup. I don't know if you expect the pure dominance that we've seen so far. As you see King of Apes trying to force the play there, stepping up in the neutral zone, just trying to get something going for his team. As we've seen crazy comebacks in the past. But it would take a complete reversal here for Radical to get back into this one. There's the confidence there from Nicky Dangles. Villapoika back in front. Harlow picks it off. And will kill the time. 20 minutes down. It was looking okay. 40 minutes down. And hREDS are running away with this in game 2.
Yeah, at the end of the first period of the first game, it was an hREDS kind of dominated period, but it was 0-0. And Radical came back in that second, and it looked good, and it was 1-1 throughout that. And, they ended up losing 2-1, but you're like, okay, wasn't the best game, but if they start on their toes in this next one, they just didn't have the opportunity. They took a penalty a couple minutes into the game, and then they just couldn't dig themselves out of the hole. And hREDS continued to pour it on, and this is NHL 24, what hREDS are playing right here. They are getting tons of shots, the zone time. They're cycling it well. They're dominating in every single stat line besides hits, but it's hard to have a lot of hits when you just you always have the puck. It's actually impressive. They're only down by 3.
So here we go. Third period. 5-1 the score line. Again, coming up after this game is the first 2 games of the series. The battle of 1 versus 8 as our number 1 seed, Tunnel Vision, are back in the postseason as 2-time defending champions. What a shot there. Off the chop, and another goal. Villapoika makes it 6-1 for hREDS on the hat trick.
That was just gorgeous. Starting from the chop by Nicky Dangles there, that acted as a shot, and guess who retrieves the puck? It's hREDS. It's the key to so much success of their game, and I'm never, ever going to stop harping on it. They just can somehow seem to predict where that puck is going to go, and maybe they can at times. You play this game enough, you can kind of read some of the angles, but they're always there. They're always there to retrieve it. And you can't necessarily teach these things. These are just, tenacity type things where you want that puck more than the other team and you make it happen. And then that quick little cycle and pass back in front to Villapoika, just absolutely gorgeous from hREDS.
Here we go. 6-1 now. hREDS as the action continues on. There's been a rough night at the office here for Radical. Villapoika picks off that TT pass, and again, the confidence.
Ooh.
On full display, big hit there. Here's Dillinger stepping up. Glove save by Fincere. Then you've mentioned it. We've called out his name more for skating to the bench as the extra attacker. Great shot there by Benito. Then we have for making saves in this one is Pelkinen with another stop.
And we're seeing the forwards, particularly Villapoika and Nicky Dangles. They both kind of did like some inside-out moves there on the rush. And oh man, that's a replay that I'm sure King of Apes won't be happy about. Him getting laid out by his former teammate in Nicky Dangles, who was receiving the boo birds out on that last play after that. But it almost seems like hREDS at this point are stunting on this Radical team, and particularly they seem to have their eyes out for King of Apes whenever he's around to see if they could either deke him or hit him or something, just to a little bit of chirping going on for for King of Apes' former team.
King of Apes does draw the trip. It'll be Nicky Dangles to the box, Radical to the power play, and Sin, we're at that point in time now where you have to start talking about the building blocks heading into the rest of the series. It's time for Radical to kind of get maybe a confidence booster here and to show like, okay, if we're on our game, good things can happen, but, again, you still have to find a way to convert here.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid to say that it can't get any worse than this game, but, I think you're right. As Radical, you just got to try to start building on something there. They look for that one-timer again to Dillinger.
King of Apes here at the point. The spin pass to Sisu. Dillinger back to the point. Sisu can't get the shot through. Vera is still fighting for it. hREDS fall forward there. Domi able to walk his way through. King of Apes. Windmills to the outside. Gets it back. Arlo back to him. Some good movement here. That shot deflects wide. Villapoika, burst of speed. Villapoika! Is it a penalty shot or just a penalty? Nothing at all as the net's off its moorings. I thought for sure there was some sort of infraction there, but apparently not.
I think he poked the puck loose a little bit and then just kind of shoved him into the net. Looked like the puck might have gone in too, but what do we call that? A veteran play to help the net off of the pegs right there to prevent that from happening.
Temu able to find that pass through halfway through this third period. Penalty called. hREDS to the power play one more time. Boarding is the call.
It seems like everyone's kind of taken a turn headed into the box here for this Radical team, and this time it's Dillinger. Kind of a massive hit right there. Maybe some frustration coming out, but I guess it doesn't matter. But maybe for your confidence, it kind of matters if you get blown out here. And hREDS are not a team to ever let their foot off the gas. They're going to be going all out here on this power play.
Look to get the break in here, and they do. Off the quick movement, it's knocked loose. Harlow for Vire. Harlow just doesn't have the stamina to drag that one through. And you can tell they want to try to play for a shorthanded goal, but chop around the back of the net. Sisu up ahead for Vire, who is able to clear it all the way out. Benito carries over the blue line here for hREDS. Nicky Dangles denied by Pelkinen, and the puck is cleared one more time. That'll pretty much do it for the man advantage. Over the line, Temu, Villapoika, 30th shot of the game. for hREDS. Here's Harlow. Space. The pass off the mark. King of Apes throws one on. Finsere stops it. It has just not been Radical's night.
No, and I would like to see a lot more of what King of Apes just did right there. It's just shoot. I mean, a lot of the reason they don't have shots is, well, the time and attack, but also if you have 3 minutes, they should probably have just a few more shots than they do. I mean, just 4. And that's those are old NHL 23 numbers. I think you got to double up, you know, at this point in NHL 24 at the very least. And what hREDS are doing, I mean, wow.
Boyka. Elected not to shoot that one. Again, just our first matchup on this broadcast, and we'll have our defending champions in Tunnel Vision in action a few moments from now. As a statement has been made here by hREDS. Pure dominance in Game 2. They dominated in Game 1. The scoreline didn't quite show it. But they have found the breakthroughs in this one, to say the least. Vire for King of Apes. Vire has it again. Stopped and covered by Finsere. He'll play it out to keep that clock ticking. Sisu for Harlow. Dillinger has it knocked away by Teemu. As Vire tried to go back to the point. Villapoika doesn't get the pickup. King of Apes. Again, tried that cut to the middle. Couldn't make it. This one will go down for icing with 14 seconds to go.
And mercifully so, this one will end very, very soon for Radical. And, well, if you're hREDS, you won that close one in Game 1 and taking this one by storm, just absolutely dominant. Their confidence is going to be sky high. Not that it already wasn't. They are hREDS after all, but having a 2-0 series lead, this got to feel good.
Off the face-off, Villapoika turns it over. Harlow denied by the glove of Finsere. What a great time to play Sandstorm with 10 seconds left in a 6-1 game. Got to get that hype going. As Domi in control, still has the puck. 3 seconds left. Villapoika's pass. It's stopped by a Pelican, and hREDS take a 2-0 series lead. And might we have a showdown here? King of Apes wants it, but hREDS does not oblige. They win Game 2 in dominant fashion and take a 2-0 series lead over Radical.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping that would go through. I kind of thought that at the end. I think King of Apes would try to fight someone just, you know, to get some kind of victory over the former team, but no one obliged right there. They walk away and look back with a smirk on their face as they leave the rink, because that was dominance from hREDS, especially in this Game 2. But they have a 2-0 series lead, and really convincingly so right now. They, numbers wise, you know, they were the better team in both those games, and particularly dominated this second one, and they got both of the wins, severely outscoring their opponent in the aggregate there. So if you're Radical, you got to reset. You're not completely out of it, you know. If you lose 6-1 in a game, that's still only one loss. You know, that's still only one game that you have to win in return in the grand scheme of things, but can't do a whole lot for your confidence. You just got to try to put it behind you, learn from the mistakes. And again, it came down to getting on their heels early once again. And this time, hREDS were making no mistakes, capitalizing on the opportunities.
5 power plays as well for hREDS, certainly not helping matters for Radical. Normally we stick around to watch the goal recap. There's a lot of them, and we still have a lot to get to in this broadcast, so we will keep the train rolling again. 2-0 for hREDS to the first 2 games of that series, but we still have another series to cover. We'll take a brief break here and then be back again in this Tunnel Vision taking on the Blackjacks. That's coming up next.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back a little bit more quickly, of course, than we typically are. But of course, hey, with some more interviews to get to, that is the reason. Again, we get ready for our next matchup. It is the #1 seed Tunnel Vision taking on the 8th seed in Blackjacks. We'll get you another quick look here at the numbers. Well, the team matchups, of course, playoff-wise, not too much to discuss, but regular season-wise, you get a look at the numbers there. And Sin, no surprise to see Tunnel Vision back at the top of the board.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they're trying to carry over what they did in the previous 2 seasons, which was win the championship and, you know, be that European representative in the World Finals against Entourage here. And, well, they've earned the chance to play the 8 seed in the Blackjacks, who did earn their way into the playoffs, a slightly negative goal differential, which that's, you know, going to be tough for them against this Tunnel Vision team who is so good on both sides of the puck. I mean, the power play numbers are quite comparable, but it comes down to the penalty kill again, kind of as we saw in the last matchup. One team with a weaker penalty kill, they have to stay out of the box, and I hope I don't jinx them and they have a parade to the sin bin as Radical did, but that's what the Blackjacks have to do. They have to stay disciplined or Tunnel Vision is going to make you pay.
With that, let's take a look here at the lineups in this one. As for the Blackjacks, the man affectionately known as Kermit, a former rookie of the season on the left, centered by Original Snus, and then Timothy on the right, Tony and Villain on defense, and Simbania, one of the stories of the season, at least in my opinion, in goal for the Blackjacks. On the other side, Vatu Kraketsi, who loves to have himself some fun on Twitter, to put it that way, and Leitinen on the right, Tombo and Wenger on defense, and Sibelius in goal for Tunnel Vision in this one. But of course, in the first matchup, we had B Major getting a word in with a member of each team, and well, it's no different for this matchup as it's time to hear from Kermit. Let's throw it over to B Major.
I am here with Kermit from the Blackjacks. Kermit, first of all, Happy New Year to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and Happy New Year to you and everyone watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. So the Blackjacks ending the ECL Spring 23 season fighting to stay in Elite. A bit of a surprise that you guys were in that relegation battle last season. Had to win that 6-game series versus Alea Hockey to earn your way back into Elite. But man, if you guys taken advantage of it, with so much of that core from last season coming back to this season, what do you think has been the difference for this group between spring and now to improve the performance the way you have?
Yeah, I think it actually roots back one season before in ECL 23 winter. We finished on rank 6 or 7 and went out in the quarterfinals against back then Frölunda, who are now strikers. And then the switch happened when Truculence and Big Tipper and stuff like that was banned. And especially with Alex on our right wing back then in that season, he was playing a power forward with Gold Truculence, which is quite uncommon, especially in ECL Elite. But that was something which made our game really aggressive and really good, especially with those good zone entries from all those teams in ECL Elite. We always had that one player who interfered that and always took one player out. And with Go Truculence being banned, I felt that over the course of NHL 23 our performances declined, and I think if I remember correctly, in the first season we had 18 wins and 12 losses, and from those 18 wins we got 10 in overtime. And if you compare that to ECL 23 winter, we lost all those games in overtime, and that's suddenly, instead of being like in the top 8 for going for the playoffs, you're then at the bottom fighting against relegation. Alex left us and we got Timazi in, and he improved us from day one. You could see all those seasons in ECL Elite from Tim, all that experience and his game style really fitted our playing style as a whole team and improved us in a lot of different situations, and also gave us a different touch and a different style than we had before. And we were pretty consistent this season, even though we left out many points against the bottom teams. We are really good against the top 4, top 5 of the table. And those important points made it possible to finish in the top 8 here. And also big thanks to Tunnel Vision, because they beat Mayhems on the last match day.
Yeah, and how about a perfect segue there from you talking about Tunnel Vision, because your friends a couple of weeks ago now becomes your enemy here in the quarterfinals in Tunnel Vision as you match up against them here in this series. I know that many obviously will view them as the favorites because they are the back-to-back champions. It ended up being that number 1 seed, but you guys are actually one of 2 teams this season to sweep them in the regular season series. How much do you think that regular season success will help you guys going into the series?
That's something we really learned from our first Elite season, because back then we split with Frölunda in the regular season. So we were pretty confident. Like, obviously they were the big favorites and we would be happy to like snatch 1 or 2 games from them. But they played a completely different game in the playoffs, and you could see that they got their game to a different level on top of that in the postseason, which they weren't on in the regular season. So this is something we really learned of, and we expect a way different game than in the regular season, because from now on the regular season doesn't mean anything anymore. But on the other hand, the pressure is on them. They are the big favorites. We have nothing to lose, and that's the way we should go on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, considering how tough that Tunnel Vision is to play against for most teams, what is it about you guys that you feel matches up so well against them, at least for what we saw in those first 2 games?
In the regular season, our biggest advantage in those 2 games is, I remember back then, we didn't take a single penalty, which is really important, especially with the gameplay in NHL 24, that the opponent doesn't get any pressure. Because if Tunnel Vision gets pressure against you, it will be a pretty tough time in your own zone. I can guarantee that. And if you don't take any penalties, you get those situations less where you are stuck in your own zone. And you are still fast without the pressure. You can go for the counter attacks and stuff like that. And especially with Timazi getting into our team, we are pretty quick and pretty aggressive. And in my opinion, also pretty deadly on the counter attacks, which we were lacking sort of in the last seasons. And I remember especially the first game, we've won that in overtime, and we scored 2 goals like from counter attacks going 3-on-2, 2-on-1. And we really have to rely on those situations to be deadly, to be there. If they make mistakes, we have to make use of that. And that's what we're going for.
Absolutely, Kermit. Just a couple of more questions for you. I know that something that does not often get talked about, at least not in the Elite division, is home ice advantage. But For this series, obviously, a little bit different because of the German servers that the Blackjacks do end up having when they are a home team. We've seen some teams mention that about that being a disadvantage for them, an advantage for you guys. What is you guys' thought on that? Do you feel like that's something that gives you an advantage? And if you're able to steal a game or two on the road, so to speak, do you feel like that maybe puts your team in the driver's seat compared to another team that doesn't have that same advantage?
Yeah, that's definitely some sort of advantage to us because we are more used to play on North or now the Northeast server, which was implemented in NHL 24, compared to all those Finnish and Swedish teams playing on Central server. Because we are always practicing against the pro and elite teams who are all playing on the both northern servers, and they are never playing on our server. So maybe we are able to get like 2 or 3 bounces per game more than you would get if you play at an away game. But on the other hand, Tunnel Vision has such a good and big quality within their roster. The server doesn't make that big of an advantage if you have players like Vatui and especially Lightin up front. But of course, if you get 1 or 2 bounces in a game more, that might be the difference maker.
Absolutely. One more question for you. I know you mentioned Tunnel Vision being the heavy favorites, the Blackjacks having nothing to lose in the public eye, so to speak, in this series because of that. But if you guys want to shock the ECL and win the series, what do you feel needs to get done?
Taking no penalties. We have to play the exact same way as in the regular season. This is really, really important also to stay in our rhythm so we can, play our game basically and don't have any interruptions because of stupid penalties. So stay away from the penalty box. We have to be really, really efficient because obviously you don't get many chances against a team like Tunnel Vision, especially on top of that if they have a experienced and great goalkeeper like Zibbe in the net, which makes it even harder. If you get a chance, you have to shoot the puck on Zibbe, which is a difference as well. And play good defense. Play good defense, play as a team, quick passing, and that's the key to success in my opinion.
Keys to success, all of them going to be needed if you guys want to pull off the series. But hey, if there's anyone that can do it, this Blackjacks team, very, very capable of doing so. Kermit, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Before we send it back over to Tugi and Sin, is there anything that you wanted to mention that I didn't ask you or anything that you wanted to say?
No, everything was said so far. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Kermit. We appreciate you. Best of luck in the series.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Tugi and Sin, back to you guys.
Well, Sin, the traditional end to an interview as per usual. But with that, we take a look here at the head-to-heads for this particular matchup. Of course, regular season stats on the board. Snus against Kriketsi as our center matchup. Sin, what stands out to you?
I mean, for me, it's got to be obviously the point differential stands out. Kriketsi coming in, slotting in extraordinarily well into this Tunnel Vision lineup. I mean, he's just been a fantastic addition for them. Some questions whether or not he was going to play at all actually in the postseason, but here he is. The advantage, though, in faceoffs going to Snus, at least by the numbers. And a little bit surprising. Kriketsi throughout a lot of the season was very good in the dot, kind of, filtered off a little bit towards the tail end of the season here. So for Blackjacks here, you got, if you want to try to, play that possession style, it's going to have to start in the dot, and Snus has looked good throughout the course of this regular season.
Looking next at the winger head-to-head again, it is Kermit and Timothy scoring off against Vatu and Lightning. We talked about dynamic duos. We saw, perhaps the biggest competition for the Tunnel Vision duo on the hREDS side of things with Villapoika and Nicky Dangles. We know how dangerous those two are. But on the other side, Timothy and what he's brought, being back in the lineup for this team alongside Kermit. Again, the Blackjacks, you look at them as a team where it's like, hey, you never say never. We're not expecting them to get rolled over here, but man, do they have some tough competition on the other side.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, Vatu and Leitinen, one of the premier winger duos of the ECL, solidifying that, because they've gone back-to-back in championships here in the ECL, and they're looking to do the exact same thing. Their numbers are tremendous here. But, I mean, Kermit is one of the most creative players in the ECL. He is very silky smooth with the puck and finds ways to get to the net and put some shots on. But the guy I'm really going to watch is Timothy. You know, he's that veteran presence coming back to the ECL after, or the elite at least, you know, after, you know, not being here or not being on a main part of a roster for a couple seasons. But with that experience that he brings to the table, I think he could be a guy that kind of really comes into his own in the playoffs. Again, he was over point per game, but just 36 points. When you compare him to everyone else, it's a low point total. But again, I just think he has that experience and he'll have that kind of calming presence that this Blackjack roster needs, because they're a team that haven't gotten out of the first round quite yet. And I mean, it's a tough competition to do so, but we have seen big upsets before between 1 and 8.
And of course, the defensive head-to-head here as well for the Blackjacks, Tony and Villain up against Captain Tombo and Wenger, two of the very best that this division has to offer. Again, those in similar story, of course, when talking about the Blackjacks and having a shot in this series.
Yeah, and it's just the numbers discrepancy. It doesn't look pretty on the side of the Blackjacks, but when it comes to the playoffs, it comes down to, you know, the team effort. Everyone has to play as one here, and I've really liked the pairing of Villain and Tony as, you know, this roster for the Blackjacks has continued to evolve and come into its own. Here they are back in the postseason. Yeah, you know, slim margin. You can argue, you could say, you know, by the skin of their teeth, relying on some other results to get in there. As, you know, we heard from Kermit, you know, Tunnel Vision beating Mayhems to secure a Blackjack spot into the playoffs, and well, now they have to go up against them. And you know, this is the best of the best. Tombo and Wenger, just tremendous. Both of them, once again, incredible two-way players. Wenger last season, I believe, defenseman of the year. Crazy point totals. This time, the captain Tombo got the better of him in the point scoring. So you can just see there's no weak points on this Tunnel Vision squad. Everyone can do everything.
And of course, our final head-to-head, the battle of the goaltenders in this matchup, as it is Simbano taking on Sibelius. And again, for the Blackjacks, new goaltender this season, he's played very well, but is up against one of the guys that has been stealthily one of the best, you know, throughout the history of the ECL Elite Division. Hasn't exactly been in a primary role over the last couple of seasons, but steps back into the lineup this year, and he has been absolutely stellar.
Yeah, just a casual 88.1% save percentage, was the 136 goals against average, 4 shutouts in 14 games played. I mean, yeah, he has always been one of the best, and as we always like to mention occasionally, one of the coolest skating strides on the ice as well. But, you know, he's taken on the Simbano, who has been really a breakout kind of star for this Blackjacks team. Just absolutely incredible season here. And, you know, not to kind of dig in any old wounds, but Sibelius was in net for Jyväskylä when they did fall to Färjestad way back when, during that 1-8 upset. And so, not to say that that series was by any means Sibelius' fault or anything like that, but there's some experience there, there's some history there, and I'm sure Sibelius is going to try to do everything in his power to make sure that simply doesn't happen again.
Identical lineups in terms of the player types, so keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind, sportsgamer.gg/Lionot. It is 4 low threshold one-day tournaments for anyone looking to get into the e-hockey side of things. Restrictions apply in the height levels. You know, we'll see, right? There are plenty of rules to talk about, of course. A lot going on, but 4v4 and 1v1 formats available. Prizing, of course, coming from the lineup themselves with different products, of course, for the Finnish national team. sportsgamer.gg/Lionot again for all the information that you need there. But with that, we are ready to go. It is game 1 of this quarterfinal matchup between Tunnel Vision and the Blackjacks in their road whites. Again, Tunnel Vision's journey to trying to become now 3-time champions. Early save there for Sibelius. Again, it would be the 3-peat for Tunnel Vision if they get the job done here.
Yeah, and they would have, if they do pull that off, you know, they would have tied the record set by hREDS with their 3 straight championships, and the same with the appearances as well. hREDS had 4 appearances too in that time. Of course, losing that first one to what is now Strikers. So it's a long way to go from them. They got to get by the first opponents here in the Blackjacks.
Villain will send this one hard around. Leitinen able to chase it down. Again, golden helmet wearer for his team. His team leading scorer in the regular season. Kermit has it on the other side for the Blackjacks. Batu has a little bit of trouble there. Gets it back along the wall. Leitinen. Unable to find that pass down low. Villain was able to pick it off. Timothy for Snus. They gain the line. Good job on the back check, though, by Leitinen. See here, Blackjacks early on, not afraid to put some pressure on in the attacking zone. Kermit's shot, glove save. Sibelius, but promising signs here from the Blackjacks in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm loving the aggression on the forecheck. They're not going to give any really slow and easy breakouts for Tunnel Vision, and that drag shot coming from Kermit. Always a chance that they could go in, but Sibelius does a good job gloving that one down.
There we go. Wenger over the line here. Pass off the stick of Batu. This one's going to be sent all the way down. Tunnel Vision will have to reset. Combo for Batu. Snus able to take it away. Up ahead for Kermit. Back to Snus. Runs into a brick wall known as Wenger. Timothy wins it back. Throws it towards goal. Up the outside of the post. Batu now up ahead. Leitinen for Wenger. Vision looked to get established in the O-zone here. Wenger tried the short side. Sabanya was there, has a lot of trouble trying to cover the puck, but finally does.
Yeah, a little bit of a danger moment right there as it's bouncing all around in his equipment. He couldn't quite get the handle on it, but so far, so good for the Blackjacks here. I really like their game. They're doing a good job keeping Tunnel Vision to the outside in the offensive zone. And again, I got to reiterate, I love the way that they're pressuring on the forecheck there. That could do a lot of good for them and create some good opportunities.
Batu over for Wenger. Tunnel Vision. Good stretch pass. Combo at the point. Finds Kriketzi. Off the puck though by Villain. An errant pass. Again. Blackjacks able to shut him down. That shot broken up. Good look though. Timothy was able to step in. Leitinen. Patience. Ultimately, though, just to force it into the middle. Nobody there. Offside call here against the Blackjacks.
Yeah, so I don't want to say a slow start necessarily, but a little bit of a feeling out process for both these teams, just trying to figure out, how to kind of have their way essentially, but maybe a bit surprising to see 0 shots from Tunnel Vision, but they have kind of got into this, sort of play style before where they really, really wait for their opportunities, and in the past, it has caused them trouble.
Betsy. Company able to keep it in the attacking zone. 4 minutes left in the first. Tunnel Vision will again have to reset here. And they are offside. I mean, Blackjacks hanging in there throughout this first period. I mean, it's been a pretty competitive first couple of minutes here in the grand scheme of things with the series.
Yeah, and the thing that Blackjacks really want to try to do, obviously, is not surrender that first goal. They can, kind of get caught into that trap of now they have to play into their opponents here. But I do like what they're doing, especially at the blue line and in their own zone. They're not being too passive and not too aggressive.
Leitinen, the odd angle shots, and Bagno able to find it and cover, and you have to be careful, of course, just those awkward opportunities that Tunnel Vision are able to generate for themselves.
Yeah, Leitinen is maybe one of the most dangerous players, kind of, when he gets the puck near the slot, and he always seems to be able to maneuver his way into some kind of a shooting location and can score some pretty filthy goals doing that as well.
Full pressure here for the first time for Tunnel Vision. Batu's low shot kicked out. Final minute of play of the first. For Kirketsi, Leitinen back to him. Defense able to bail him out. Final moments of the period. Vatu across. Great block. Tony getting in front of that one. Wenger for Kirketsi across. Villain can't clear. Vatu denied by the glove at the buzzer. As the Blackjacks finally found themselves in trouble, but they're able to survive, and that's it for the opening 20.
That's why you saw them putting so much emphasis on the forecheck and trying to hold the blue line, because that's what tunnel vision is capable of when they establish themselves in the offensive zone. And that's why you saw Blackjacks doing their best to try to keep them to the perimeter, but it's only a matter of time until a team like tunnel vision is able to get to those higher quality scoring areas. And what started out pretty even at the beginning of that first period really started to snowball in tunnel vision's favor as they got themselves established in the O zone and finally started to get some opportunities. That one right there actually hit off of his own teammate, what we initially thought was a block for Tony. Wow, I mean, that huge kind of goal-saving situation right there, but bit of a wake-up call for Blackjacks. You don't surrender a goal, and that's good, but you got to find a way to get back into the O zone now.
Here we go, second period about ready to begin. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. It is game number 1 between our two-time defending champions in tunnel vision, taking on the 8th seed here in the Blackjacks. Competitive first period. Tunnel vision looked to get things back going, but Simbano able to cover.
And right now, if you're Blackjacks here, it's just about kind of stemming the tide right now. You know, the possession game is firmly being won by tunnel vision. Got to find some kind of way. Kirketsi again, another face-off win.
Batu tried to feed in front, and somehow Young Lion able to pounce on that one and make the cover. There you see, Sin. Nearly
the
5.5
king has
minutes.
returned.
That should just chuck him off a Pride Rock. The greatest gif of all time. Kermit able to pick this one off. Snus a bit of space now. Timothy tried to find Kermit, but again, Leitinen on the back pressure. And you can tell, I mean, it is, you know, the Blackjacks having to rely on their counterattacks. Gotta have that little bit of extra willingness, I'd say, to throw these pucks on, though, when you're given that space.
Yeah, just be a little bit patient. I always say, you know, when you're counterattacking, the first place the backcheckers are going to go to the middle of the ice. Dangerous pass right there, looking for the 1T. So if you try to force the middle early on, it's going to be too much traction. Sometimes better to just wait, take the perimeter, establish yourselves as they're doing right now.
Timothy, a little self-pass, gets it down low. The patience there for Kermit, tried the wraparound. Television down the other way. Leitinen or Wenger can't get the shot through. Of course, we know with tunnel vision, Sin, they will play their style until the death. They will not adapt. They have the utmost confidence in what they do. I don't want to say that they won't adapt, but they stick to their game plan pretty much no matter what. And it's brought them so much success, so you can understand why they really do force other teams to adapt around them. That is an incredible save. And here come the Blackjacks down the other way. Bellius able to play it over. And that's why tunnel vision stick to their strategy, because all it takes is a mistake from the opposition and you're going to get a high-quality chance. Here's Kermit now. Throws one on. Forces the save out of Sibelius, and they'll get an own zone draw out of it.
I mean, Simba's playing out of his mind right now. He's having to make some tough saves early on and really been under a lot of pressure as well. As see a big hit happening there on the transition. Blackjack's trying to just kind of bite back here. This is an important draw for Snus. If they want to continue to try to get some zone pressure, some chances, he's got to win this.
Shot, they score! Off the face-off, original Snus. And the Blackjacks grab the lead.
That is a beautiful little set play, not something that we see often. I believe Blackjacks are one of the teams that exclusively sort of run this, where the center is the guy who gets that second pass. Looks this, wins it to the aggressive set right defenseman. He kicks it immediately back to Snus, who gets himself in the shooting lane, picks the corner going bar and in. And Blackjacks, the team who strikes first in this matchup, exactly what they needed in this matchup, Toogie.
Well, Sim, we got to steal that one for our own ESHL adventures. To steal that play. Tremendous work there for the Blackjacks. They have the breakthrough goal. Snus had 26 and 30 regular season games. He starts off the scoring here in this series as Vatu denied. Vanya making another big save. Vatu again, loose puck, a little bit of trouble. Villain trying to settle it down. As Timothy finds space after avoiding the hit, a rare mistake from Tombo. And that back pass just not there. Tony sends it down low. Snus has it, tries the short side. Sibelius was able to hold that post, but the Blackjacks still hanging in there, and they have the lead in this one.
Yeah, I like that play right there. Just trying to, test the angles. Again, that's what you have to do if you're Blackjacks. Don't be afraid to shoot the puck at any stage, as you were saying earlier.
Save there. Down the other way, Leitinen for Wenger. The shot broken up. Leitinen able to recover. Down low for Kriketzi. Wenger at the point. Unable to hold on to it. Blackjacks back in control. Tony for Timothy. They're onside. Kermit back for Timothy. He had a chance. Good save by Sibelius. There's Wenger for Leitinen, tried and unable. Put that one past Zimbano, another big save.
Yeah, and that was a smart clear as well. I think that was Villain who got that, just sent it out and didn't even mind if it was icing, but it hit off of, I believe, Tumbo and didn't come to an icing. But that's what you got to do sometimes. Just get the puck out before the other team can get their pressure.
Batu for Wenger. Can't sneak that shot through. Kriketzi battling Tony. It finds its way up to Snus. Final minute of the second period. Timothy sends it down low for Kermit. Tried to go back. Tombo able to pick it off. One more chance here. Vatu draws the trip. Leitinen in front. Kicked off the goal line. As Tunnel Vision still yet to find their opening goal. However, they will have a power play here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Villain going to the box for the poke at the blue line, just into the feet. He's about to kind of get beat to the inside, which is what you definitely don't want. So not a horrible penalty to take, but they did struggle on the PK. They said, that they can't take penalties, and now they're going to have to rely on the PK there, as that was a dangerous chance at the end of the period by Tunnel Vision.
Blackjacks have the breakthrough. A 1-0 lead, but they will start the third period on the penalty kill.
Yeah, and that's... it's better to kind of split it over two periods. Better to start, in the neutral zone with the face-off. But at the same time, you still don't want to be shorthanded against a team like Tunnel Vision. They find themselves in a good spot. Up by 1. The numbers in favor of Tunnel Vision for sure, but it's the shots being even. That's the key, I think, here. It's the Blackjacks being more willing than Tunnel Vision to throw the puck on. And again, we talked about it. That's kind of can be Tunnel Vision's game. They're gonna wait for those excellent opportunities, in tight chances, those really good one-time plays. That's just their style, and it hasn't changed with the mechanics either. They seem to continue to want to do it, and well, it's worked so far throughout the regular season. We'll see if it can get them back in this game.
Here we go, third period underway. Nearly a full power play for Tunnel Vision to work with. Wenger, the force in front. Timothy able to find it. Clears it down. Court race for the puck here is Snus in the mix. Try to chase that one down. Leitinen for Kriketzi. Poked away. No possession though. Tunnel Vision D2D passes. Wenger tried to find Leitinen. Trouble for Tony. Sends it around. Held in. Combo for Leitinen. 10 seconds left on the man advantage. Kriketsi down low. They try the same set play. Great glove save by Simbano. Now here's Villain out of the box. Takes the hit, though, and couldn't hold it.
They just got run over right there by Wenger on the back check.
Puck towards goal. An awkward reaction, but it is covered, and we'll have a face-off.
Another kind of scary moment. It's always such an odd situation where that puck is just, you know, kind of just drifting towards the goaltender. You never know how your guy is going to react to it, but fortunately it didn't end up in the back of the net. That would have been bad for Blackjacks.
There we go. Tunnel vision. Roll here, trying to find their first goal of this opening game. Quarterfinal matchup, Tunnel Vision, our #1 seed. And we're ahead of strikers on tiebreakers. Betsy bumped and the net pops off. There we go, big time face off yet again. Still full pressure here for Tunnel Vision, 25 seconds left. They win the draw clean. Anger for Leitinen. Combo, a little bit of trouble. Batu scores! Thought it might have been deflected, but the puck goes in clean. Tunnel Vision tie this game at 1 goal apiece.
I thought for sure that one was deflection. I even thought I heard a sound. Maybe it went off of a defender stick. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to get a better look at it right here, but nonetheless, just a smart play to just kind of rip that one on and somehow beat Simba back there, and we have a tie game.
We've preached it all season long. Shots on goal are that much more important this year, and it's showcased there as Tunnel Vision have tied this game up. Vatu will draw a trip. Ketsi the shot. Rebound out. With Sibelius is on as the extra attacker. Combo, one-timer, great save! As Simbano doing everything he can to hold his team in it. It is Villain, though, going back to the box.
Yeah, his second trip to the box again for tripping here. Just kind of got caught with that pass to the slot and cut across right there. Obviously, he's thinking maybe Vatu's going to try to take the shot immediately, but this is the second time he's just kind of cut across, tried to just rip a wrister on, but you said it. I mean, Simbano has been phenomenal for this Blackjacks team so far. Going to have to come up big again.
Makes a save. Full pressure here on the power play for Tunnel Vision. Vatu back to combo. Vanger's shot. That stops again. Penalty called. Original Snus going to be heading to the box for tripping. It's 5-on-3.
This is just not what the Blackjacks want. We said it in the pregame. You heard it from Kermit himself in the pregame. They have to stay out of the box. They can't get penalized against this team, but that's 3-1 game, and this is a deadly, deadly team to give a 5-on-3 to.
Go. Tie up off the draw. Tunnel Vision in control. 10 seconds up to full pressure. Great glove save. Simbano does it again to keep it a 1-goal game.
He's just dialed in. I don't know what else to say. He is unreal out there for this Blackjacks team.
He's had to be. Still a minute to go in the 5-on-3. Combo. Vatu scores. A tremendous hesitation move opens that top corner. It's a power play goal for Tunnel Vision.
You can kind of see just the slight shift by Simbano there as he moved towards the middle where Vatu was moving. That gave him a little bit of space on that short side to be able to capitalize, and that's why Vatu continues to do that when he moves towards the middle of the ice, no matter what the angle is. And that's just to get the goaltender to slightly move off the post so he can rip it home. 2-1 now for Tunnel Vision.
Leitinen on the doorstep. And a cover by Simbano. 11 minutes to go in the period. Tunnel Vision with their first lead of the game. Big face off here. Still over a minute to go of power play time. Vatu couldn't make that play. And for Tombo, 50 seconds left. Feed across, nobody there. Etsy back to the point. That shot stopped by Zimbania. Still unable to at least get it back to the neutral zone. Leitinen for Wenger. Back to Leitinen, couldn't get the shot off clean. Finally back to 5-on-5, but full pressure. Vatu denied on the shot. Another shot, loose puck. And it might end up being a loss for the Blackjacks, but there is one person in particular that you could not blame for said decision.
No, and I'm pretty sure he's been at like red or no stamina for this in like what feels like the entire period here. Just under siege.
Full pressure is still in effect. Leitinen for Wenger. For Ketzi. Not the shot he was looking for. Timothy gets bumped. 7.5 to go. The Blackjacks in need of a goal. Kermit gets run over. Just had nowhere to go. Kermit for Villain. Mambo able to handle it there. Finds that breakout pass as well. Well, there for Tony, but he's able to make the most of it. Here's Timothy. Just has nowhere to go as they try to gain the blue line. Leitinen, low shot. Good save again. Timothy for Villain. Had his steam here for the defender. Down low. Kermit to Timothy. The defense able to collapse. The battle for the puck behind the logo there. Leitinen across the shot. Loose puck still. Leitinen recovers. Can't get the shot on goal. 3 minutes left here in game number 1. At least in regulation. Kermit able to win that back. Gets it all the way to the point. Dylan, one-timer from Timothy. Sibelius able to make the save.
And this is what the Blackjacks need at this point. Just shots on goal. Time is working against them. And they're only going to have the real time at 30 seconds to work with as well. They need to find something here.
Timothy can't get that feed in front. Can't see the Leitinen. Contact with the goaltender allows Villain to get that puck. Final minutes. Tony tried to sauce it down low. Wenger was able to pick it off. Here's Vatu. Has Leitinen. Wisely takes it to the corner. Wenger to Kriketzi. Vatu again. Down to Leitinen. This tunnel vision trying to kill that clock. Villain for Snus. 12 seconds here for the Blackjacks. Timothy onside, can't get it low. Here's Tombo to take it away to the corner. They held on for as long as they could. Tunnel vision, though, too much in game 1 as they win 2-1 your final score.
You could just see the struggle and the desperation from the Blackjacks at the end, but that's the problem when you're down against tunnel vision. You have to try to play into them, and they are very an underratedly good defensive team. I mean, if you look at the numbers, obviously they're not, but when you think to those great defensive teams, obviously you think, the hREDS coming up first, Strikers even, but I mean, this tunnel vision team, big part of the reason that they found success is that their defense is absolutely incredible. And, so much emphasis gets put on guys like Leitinen and Vatu with just how well they're able to score. Even Wenger on the point, how well he's able to score. But as a defensive team, just so good. And, I mean, they showed it in that one there, too. They completely just suffocated the Blackjacks, much as hREDS did to Radical. Through so much of that first 2 games in that series as well, just absolutely suffocated them. The stats completely lopsided in favor of tunnel vision, and they pick up a huge win there in game number 1.
We will get a look here. That goal there from Original Snus was the breakthrough, but it was the only goal of the game for the Blackjacks because Vatu helps lead the way. And right here, off the goaltender's stick, as he was screened.
The sound,
yeah, so he didn't get the cleanest play. And right here from Vatu, the hesitation, waits for the goaltender to make the move, and just under the blockers. So that is game 1 in the books. We still have the second game of this series coming up. But before that, one more time, we'll throw it over to B Major, who was able to speak with Lehtinen of Tunnel Vision before this series began. Let's throw it over there now.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
I am joined by Lehtinen from Tunnel Vision. Lehtinen, first of all, Happy New Year to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you, and same to you.
Yeah, and you look at this Tunnel Vision team, obviously the big story, all of the success that you guys have had over the last 2 years, really, and now you're on your quest for a third straight championship. You'd be the second team in ECL history to do it, aside from hREDS. Naturally, knowing that history that is on the line and knowing that you are trying to defend your crown as a top team in EU, how much of a motivation is that for this team, and how often do you guys think about it?
Of course, it's a big motivation for us. We want to be the best team on the ice and on EU and in the world, of course. But we are not thinking about it that much. We are just going with the flow and trusting to our own game. And I think that's the main reason we have won two championships before this season as well. That we have not thought about these championships that much. But yeah, of course, it's the main goal for us to win the third time championships.
Yeah, and I know that the lineup this season a little bit different than in past seasons. This team has slowly undergone some change with players such as Moja and Nike moving on to other teams, and obviously with NHL 24 being a totally different game from some of the other titles that much of us have been used to. But yet this Tunnel Vision team seems to keep on moving and have filled in those holes admirably and have adjusted well without really any hiccups. What do you feel has been the key to this club's consistency in continuing to be successful?
Yeah, I think the main reason is that we are playing like pretty easy game style. Like from looking from a new player perspective, I think it's really easy to join our club. We are really skillful player, of course, everyone in the personal level, but the main reason is that we are good friends together on and off the ice, and we are really good mood in the chat, and we are not like stressing about the winning. We are just having fun and playing, and that's the reason why we have won 2 championships already.
Yeah, and you look at this current title defense you guys got going. It gets started with the 8 seed in the Blackjacks, and I know many consider you guys to be the heavy favorites, not just for this series, but to win the championship. But the Blackjacks were one of the few teams that actually got the best of you guys in the regular season. They won both games by a goal in the regular season. I have to ask, what do you feel like attested to some of those results?
Well, those games were obviously like not that good from us. They had good counterattacks, and the first game was like a tight game where they tied the game 2 seconds before the end, and that like dropped our mood to down, and after that we couldn't get our own game back, and then they had good flow on the ice and they got their game going, and maybe that was the main reason that we couldn't keep our mind on the game.
Yeah, and the Blackjacks being a pretty tough team, a team I know that you guys in Tunnel Vision are pretty familiar with. Both of you have been mainstays in the Elite Division for a while now. What is it about them that you feel makes them a... Yeah, absolutely. And, the Blackjacks, obviously a team that you guys are plenty familiar with. Both you and Blackjacks have been a mainstay in the Elite Division for the last few years. What is it about them that you feel like makes them a tough matchup despite the difference in your seedings?
Well, they have always been different than other opponents from 8 seed to 12 seed. They have always been like tough opponent to play against because they are defending real well. I think their goalkeeper have now been like better than before this ECL I don't remember what it like Simbanho or who, but he has been really, really good, and the team defense, what they are playing together is really good, and the trap as well. It's tough to play, at least for like is especially in like German servers. It's really tough, but I don't know. Maybe that is like their advantage and the reason.
Yeah, is there anything specific that Tunnel Vision is going to be looking out for, or any adjustments that you guys are going to look to make considering those first two games with the way it did?
Well, the main thing we are looking at is that we are not giving any counterattacks, because that is the only way I think they are able to beat us in the best of 7 series. So that's the main thing. Yeah.
Light, and then one last question for you. Obviously, so many people expecting Tunnel Vision to be one of those contenders for the championship, but it all starts with this quarterfinals win. What do you think is going to be the key for your team to continue rolling like you have been for so long now and to win this series?
Well, I think the main thing for us is that we have to like improve our game towards the finals, and not maybe stress about the championships. Like I said earlier, it's not the way to go, at least in my opinion. And improving our game is the main thing and goal, and that's what we are doing right now. We are watching videos together and improving our game, taking a couple notes what we are doing wrong against top opponents, and improving about those mistakes and things.
Hey, working to get better and taking it one game and one series at a time. It's worked for you guys the last couple of years. We'll see if you got one more in you. Lightning, thank you so much for taking the time. But before we head back to the booth to 2 against Sin, is there anything that you want to add on or say?
Well, I want to say good luck to every playoff teams participating this year's playoffs. Good luck.
The best of luck to you as well, Lightning. It should be a great series. Thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, 2 against Sin, we'll send it back to you guys in the booth.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. Again, a big thank you for sticking with us here as we get ready for the second game of this series. And of course, our final game on this broadcast, Tunnel Vision and the Blackjacks, with Tunnel Vision taking game number 1. And of course, Sim, we just heard from Leitinen in terms of what the thoughts and feelings were heading in to the series. But of course, it was on the other side, the featured player for Tunnel Vision, with Vatu scoring both of those goals. We talked about how dynamic and dangerous those two wingers are, with the ability to just kind of go off at any given time. And we saw it from Vatu, 2 quick goals, and well, that was enough for Tunnel Vision to get that win.
Yeah, and at times in the playoffs, especially in the last season when Leitinen had the 90-something points that he did throughout the course of the regular season, seems like teams keyed in on him to kind of play defense around, trying to stifle him, and that just allows Vatu to go to work. And he's always been a really good playoff performer for this Tunnel Vision team. And, you know, he's starting off on a good foot again. You know, those 2 goals in that first game, including obviously the game winner. And, you know, if you're the Blackjacks, good news, you only lost by 1. But that was what Radical did in that first game against hREDS. We know what happened in the second one here. Blackjacks can't let themselves get, you know, pushed to the wall once again. They got to stay out of the box. That was their key, one of our keys as well heading into this. They got in trouble with that in the last game here, but this game just got to come out stronger. You can't let Tunnel Vision get to work early.
So, of course, you see there the lineups, same thing as we were expecting, identical setups. And, of course, one more time, sportsgamer.gg/Lionat, as it is an entry-level tournament, 1v1, 4v4 formats available. So make sure to check it out again on sportsgamer.gg for all the information that you need. A great entry-level tournament option for those looking to get a little bit more involved. And who knows, we have seen some some stories of those starting off in tournaments such as this, the lower tiers of the ECL, and all of a sudden, people find their way up to the pro and even the heights of the elite division. But for now, we focus on our task at hand, Game 2 in this opening round series as Tunnel Vision look to double things up here and take a 2-0 series lead, similar, of course, to what we saw the higher seed of our first matchup do a little bit earlier on. hREDS up 2-0 on Radical. Let's see if Tunnel Vision can do the same here. And, Sen, hey, 2-1 score lines in Game 1 of both series. We saw hREDS just, really take it to Radical in Game 2. There's a variety of different ways to phrase it. That's something that the Blackjacks need to be wary of here. They need to keep this game as close as they can and really try to, help Sambanyo out a little bit more, because that game, the first game of this series, really could have been a little bit more lopsided.
Yeah, it absolutely could have. So Blackjack's trying to get to work earlier. That's a nice bump by Lightning coming back the other way.
Batu tried to feed in front. Villain couldn't free up Kermit there. No need for Snus. That one's knocked away. Race for the puck. It was chopped. Lightning able to hold it into the attacking zone now. Tunnel Vision, the shot deflected. They score. As Kriketsi is on the board. And Tunnel Vision take a 1-0 lead under 7 minutes into the first period.
Yeah, exactly what Tunnel Vision wanted to see right there. I love that mentality there. Just rip the shot on from the point with some traffic in front. The little circle right there by Tumbo to get that shooting lane, and Kriketsi with the positioning in front to deflect it home. Came off, a sort of transitionary play where Blackjacks had a really good opportunity in the previous one. I would have liked to see maybe that slap pass play, because Kermit had all day in front, but Villain went for the saucer pass. It didn't work, and it led to Tunnel Vision being able to come back and get that goal eventually.
See what the response will be here. Kermit, the fake into the shot. Get a different angle. Good attempt from him there, and I think for the Blackjacks, you need to see more of that. You have to get pressure on the opposing goaltender. Both, figuratively and literally, with the pressure system that we have in NHL 24. Kermit into the zone, tried to throw one on. Timothy picked it off. Back to Kermit. Good save by Sibelius. Tony to Villain deflected. Loose puck in front. They score, but it's being waved off, and I'm not sure why. We'll get another look at it here.
It's got to be a kick. I did not see any contact right there, too. They got to be looking for a kick, so we'll have to wait for the ref to give the indication, but that looks good to me.
I didn't see much contact at all, either, if any. This should be called a good goal. And it is! The Blackjacks have tied this game, making 2 goals in 2 games for the captain, Original Snus.
Huge response coming out from the Blackjacks there, tying this game up very quickly, right back to square one. And that was nearly kept in right there. Kermit just a little bit offside. We've seen that a lot off of the center zone faceoffs as the Blackjacks trying to attack quickly, splitting the D with Kermit.
You mentioned it too. They needed that goal, and they needed it quickly. Timothy's going to be offside here. Again, just a hugely important goal for the Blackjacks as they aim to keep this close. You talk about, battle of 1 versus 8. It's often the thought of, hey, cool, you're the 8th seed, you made the playoffs, now get out. It's often how these series go. They're looking to reverse that. It's been done before. Ketsi to Vatu. Charges his way through, still has it on the backhand. Kicks to the point. Quick movement here from Tunnel Vision. Can't see the Lightning. And he's able to take it away. Batu goes all the way to Tombo at the point. His own time. That picked off by Tony, though. Here's Kermit. Drop pass for Timothy. We'll send it around. Snus is there. Good movement here. Timothy, a bit too much traffic in front, though. All good up until that last pass. Pick off there by Kirketsi. Poked away, but held in. Loose puck. Kirketsi still couldn't hold on to it. Timothy for Tony. Now Vatu over the line. Leitinen tried to follow up pass. Blackjacks continuing. Be strong defensively. Here's Kermit. It's back to Tony at the point. Tony's shot into traffic. Timothy backhand on. And forcing a save out of Sibelius.
I like that mentality right there from Timothy. Just throw another shot on. Backhand or not, you never know if it's going to rebound out or bounce in. And considering another first goal win, and I think we need to see a whole lot more of that from the Blackjacks here.
Wenger in control. Final minute of this first period, a goal apiece. Leitinen into Wenger. Have time to work with Leitinen. Couldn't pull the trigger on that shot as quickly as he would have wanted. Final few seconds. Vatu's going to be offside.
So likely not another chance in this period, though with 3.9 seconds, I'm sure Tunnel Vision could cook something up, but the time and attack numbers much more even than they were in that first game towards the end of the first period here. That's a win in and of itself for the Blackjacks. The fact that they've also tied this game up as well, just really huge for them. And they'll go into the second period on even footing with this Tunnel Vision squad, who did score quickly and score first, but I love the bite back from the Blackjacks in this game. And you know, they've gone for those higher quality chances, but when they saw that first one was just completely swallowed up, you know, when they've tried to pass it out front to Timothy, they adopted a slightly different style, and they're just trying to put some more pucks on net, try to test Sibelius, try to get some rebounds, crash the net, and, you know, more pressure. They led the way in shots in that one. One shot, one goal for Tunnel Vision, but again, that's sort of been their style a lot of the time, but I love what Blackjacks are bringing to the table in this one. They got a really good chance if they're able to keep this up.
You get another look here. Big kick save. Sibelius unable to follow up, though, on that rebound. It's going to be the key for the Blackjacks here as we get ready for the second period of play here in game number 2. Again, as always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi as we kick off quarterfinals coverage here. I believe our next broadcast, of course, still potentially up in the air as far as the Elite Division is concerned. Might not be until, I believe, the rumored date is the 7th, this upcoming Sunday. So again, as always, keep an eye out, sportsgamer.gg, and all of our social, SportsGamer GG, of course. Of course, our Pro Division spotlight as well, as those playoffs continue. A lot going on here. We cover the ECL into postseason season as Snus up ahead. Timothy now has a chance short side, and that's a good shot right there. Test the goaltender's kind of willingness and faith to stay put when there was a cross-crease threat.
Yeah, it looks like he thought about that pass initially, too. I'd rather see him maybe just shoot that immediately. He would have gotten a better forehand shot off if he had done that. A chance to perhaps pick the corner, but still getting a shot onto that situation, never a bad thing.
Leitinen will be offside here. Still await the next goal here. It's going to be a big one at this point in time. And close series so far. Kermit at the feed in front. Snus in control, loses it to Vatu. Base now for Tunnel Vision. Villain able to take it away. Back pressure by Kirketsi, of course, has a lot of experience playing defense in this highest tier. Good low shot there. To the pick off. Tunnel Vision starting to amp up the pressure here a little bit. Blackjacks can get this breakout. Tony can't find the pass. And offside here. So for the Blackjacks right now, the ice starting to tilt towards your own zone here. It's been difficult to get established down the other way, and that is, of course, despite that face-off advantage.
And that's kind of the strength of tunnel vision when they ramp up that aggression. It's so hard to make those forward passes here, and you see, Blackjack's wanting to get that counterattack going, but multiple kind of stretch passes have just been swallowed up by tunnel vision.
There's a moment there, of course, and Banyo was able to keep that one out, though. And another pass to try and get through the neutral zone that does not find its intended target. This one poked away, foot race for the puck that Wenger will win over Timothy. It was close. Batu in control, Tony. Up ahead for Timothy. Good pass to Snus, but again, the defense is there. Power play called, though. Was it an elbow? Yes, it is. As Wenger will go to the box, and a huge opportunity here for the Blackjacks.
I mean, that was such a good defensive play, defensive read by him as well. Making the play early in the neutral zone, not allowing the guy to really get on his horse and try to win the foot race to the outside, but leads to a penalty, and now the Blackjacks have the man advantage.
Huge chance here. The 8th seed. Kermit the net drives. Sibelius able to find it and cover. Face-off coming up again. Snus has done well in this game. On the draws. Big moment for him here now. Goes at forehand grip. Wins the sweep. Kermit scores! Power play goal for the Blackjacks. They're back on top. It's 2-1.
These set face-off plays for the Blackjacks are something else, and I couldn't actually tell if that was a one-touch pass or like a slow backhand shot on that went to Kermit's stick, but had the same effect, put him right on the forehand to squeeze that by Sibelius. Beautiful execution by the Blackjacks, and they take a 2-1 lead.
Certainly looked like a one-touch to me. Again, the change to the passing, it pays off there. And yeah, perhaps the great equalizer for the Blackjacks. These set plays off the draw. It works for them again. They have the power play goal, and they will have another power play opportunity. Leitinen heading to the box. It's interference.
Much as we saw in the last game where the Blackjacks started to get in penalty trouble and they just sort of compounded. Here it's happening to tunnel vision right there. Thinking the pass is coming for him, and how often have we seen that throughout the course of this season? The bump in front leading to the interference call. What an opportunity here for the Blackjacks.
1-for-1 with one shot. You saw it just a few moments ago. Blackjacks back on the power play. Timothy out on the perimeter. They go for a bit of an umbrella here. Wenger loses it to Kermit, but Kermit passes it right back to him. Batu able to send it down. We got a foot race for the puck here. But Timothy will win over Kuketsi. Me for Kermit now. Back to Tony. Villain on the D-to-D pass. Villain stepping in. Thought he might shoot. Kermit throws it towards goal. Villain now. His boys got to let the puck fly. It deflects just wide. Tony back to Kermit. 18 seconds left on the power play. As those centering feeds aren't often working, but they have room and the lane to shoot. But we are back to 5-on-5. Good hit there to win the puck back. Villain at the point. The shot into his own man's legs. Couldn't get the deflection there. Still a good look. This Villain had a steam. He just burst past the captain there for tunnel vision. Good look. Diving effort from Wenger, and that will go down for icing.
Blackjacks are looking pretty good right now. I agree with your sentiment, though, especially on that power play. A few shooting lanes there that they didn't take advantage of. We'll see if they continue to do it here 5-on-5, try to build that pressure meter up and get Sibelius into a tired state, but that's a clutch win by Kuketsi right there. But here come Blackjacks again.
He cut from Kermit. We have 1 minute to go here in the second period. Puck sent into the Blackjack zone. Villain now. Pass off the mark, icing with 21 seconds left.
Yeah, unfortunately goes for icing, but I'm liking the Blackjacks here, really trying to stretch this game out quite a bit and still really dominating in shots as well. I mean, that's just one shot for Tunnel Vision in this period.
7 seconds here with the puck back to the neutral zone. Timothy, 3 seconds. Timothy can't get the shot through. Second chance is blocked by Vatu. And that'll do it. 40 minutes down. A lead for the Blackjacks as we head to the third.
I mean, that's exactly where they want to be. It's, you know, they probably prefer an insurance marker. They're going to be hunting for that in this third period, but they've played very well here in this second game. And look at that, time and attack very even, but it's the shot advantage for the Blackjacks. And I even think they could put the puck on even more with some of the chances that they're getting here, as we're getting yet another look at that beautiful set play off of the draw, just through the legs of the defender to Kermit, who wasted no time getting that shot away. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, even in the iteration of NHL 23, where Tunnel Vision at times has almost refusal to kind of shoot the puck on, especially in NHL 24, where I think that would benefit them a heck of a lot more. In a game like this too, I think if you're Tunnel Vision, you got to put that puck on. Blackjack, same thing. You do not want to give the advantage back.
Here we go. Third period underway. Leitonen runs out of space. One goes all the way down. Icing here yet again against the Blackjacks. It is game 2 in this series. Your 1 seed in Tunnel Vision won both the winter and spring championships throughout NHL 23. Looking for that three-peat. Long way to go, though, and again, the competition level on full display here as the Blackjacks keeping this close. Game 1 was decided by the same scoreline. Tunnel Vision getting the 2-1 win in that instance. Banger does a good job to hold the puck in the attacking zone. Burketzi down low. Does a good job of keeping his name in the conversation. As Kermit over the line. To the point now, Tony to Villain. D to D, it's broken up. Timothy's shot. Blocked down. Combo. He secured the puck. To the line, Leitonen. Off the skates of the defender. Chopped back to the point, held in. Combo to Leitonen. Vatu kicked out by Simbano. We haven't had to call his name out as much. Here's Timothy with some space. Held it a little bit too long. Does win it back, though. Still in the corner, around the back. They tried to find Kermit in front. Lucky to not get an interference call. And a lot of contact. Kermit now, 12 minutes left in regulation. The point at Snus, back to Kermit. Down low. Wanted that cut back to the short side. This one all the way down towards goals, and Banyo has to play it. As Timothy avoids Tombo, he misses another hit. Timothy back across, great chance. Timothy again has it low. Snus to Tony. And fortunately there, took the shot. It deflects over the glass.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Very fortunate that that didn't stay in play, or Leitonen could have just been off to the races there.
Face off. Kermit couldn't hold on to it. And another shot. That one stopped by Sibelius. Timothy back for Kermit down low. Bumped off by Wenger. Who steps up into the play with Kirketzi. Now Vatu, and Wenger steps up too far. Offside is the call.
It's not so often where we see a Tunnel Vision team that almost looks a little bit flustered, but here we are, down by 1. Less than half of the third period remaining, and feels like the Blackjacks are firmly in the driver's seat right now.
Tony, what a deflection there. Won't be into the path of Kermit, though. Combo looking to lead the way. They are onside. Wenger is going to go all the way back down. 6.5 minutes to go. The clock An enemy here for tunnel vision. Leitinen. Into the zone. Still has it. It's loose towards the point. Poked away by Timothy. Leitinen for Wenger. D2D pass to Tombo. Wenger again at the point. That shot blocked down. Villain to Timothy. Here goes Kermit. Wenger trying to chase him down. Kermit gets it on goal. Sibelius keeps it out. You see again over to Kermit. Back down low. Good movement. Wrap around for Timothy. Sibelius makes the save and plays it out, but tunnel vision not in possession. They are now, though, after that pickoff from Wenger. 2.5 left. Ketzi to Vatu. Vatu, the shot on. Me for Timothy will send it around. High pressure, all 5 players in the attacking zone here for tunnel vision. As Kermit for Timothy. He'll dump it in. Final minute of regulation here. Wenger able to find Leitinen. Poked away. Wenger for Tombo. Empty net coming up for tunnel vision. Sibelius heading to the bench as the extra attacker. Riketzi for Tombo. Wenger shot. Save, and it nearly snuck in. Leitinen back to the point. Vatu's shot deflects wide. 7 seconds. Riketzi for Wenger. He missed the nets. Riketzi in front. Time expires. The Blackjacks hold on to take game 2 in a wild finish.
Wild finish indeed. 6-on-5 action and tunnel vision threatening so much. Multiple near misses in those last 25 seconds or so, especially with that Wenger shot sailing just wider. Oh man, just a wild end of that one, but Blackjacks able to hold on and tie this series up. Both games very small score lines, but exciting nonetheless, especially that second one. Hats off to the Blackjacks. They did what they needed to do. They battled, they got the advantage, and for a lot of that third period, they didn't give that advantage up, and that's key. You can't give tunnel vision too much time, too many opportunities. Tunnel vision in desperation mode at the end there. They just couldn't get it to fall their way and tie that game up. Huge result for the Blackjacks. Huge bounce back game. And they'll head in to game 3 in our next, one of our next broadcasts on even footing with the #1 seed.
So you look there, tunnel vision, just 5 shots in 8 minutes of attacking time. As we'll get a look here at these goals. Again, tunnel vision started off the scoring with that deflection goal early on for Riketzi, and it was their only goal of the game. As we saw this play here, maybe a fortunate bounce in a way, but then afterwards, one more look here at the winning goal for Kermit. Another set play off the face-off, right between the legs and into the back of the net. A huge result for the Blackjacks as they split the first 2 games of this series. And we'll get a look here, actually, at the very end of this game. With the block attempts, Wenger has the corner open, and it just goes wide.
Yeah, that was the one right there. That it was just such a good play by Wenger. This crazy bounce as well was very dangerous, but it was that Wenger shot. He had such a good chance. That one right there, when he tried to feed that through, I would have loved to see Villain rip that shot on right there. He had so much time and space there on that power play. The short side was looking pretty good. But these are things, you can build on to the future of the series as well. And those are things that, Blackjacks come away on even footing with the split, but there are things that I think that they're going to want to evolve in their game. If Tunnel Visions is going to be the team to look for those grade A opportunities, I think that if you're Blackjacks, you got to be the team to start ripping those shots on.
So with that, a look here at the bracket as things stand. Again, earlier on, we saw hREDS take a 2-0 series lead. And of course, now we know it's a 1-1 split between Tunnel Vision and the Blackjacks. And of course, still waiting to kick off our other 2 matchups, Strikers and Unwanted, Yipi Vaskala and Vesa Pampa. That coming up, of course, very, very soon. Keep an eye out on the socials and, of course, sportsgamer.gg for all of the updated information in regards to our broadcast schedule here as we continue on with the ECL Elite Division playoffs for our Winter 24 season. But for now, we will look to wind things down here. A big thank you for joining us yet again. And of course, so much going on here at SportsGamer, whether or not it be the Elite playoffs, the Pro playoffs, everything within the ECL. But for now, we will bid you adieu. For Sin, of course, a great time as always. Pleasure to be back with you in the booth, of course. We had some, some inconsistencies in our schedules lining up throughout this season, but, we're back home for the playoffs. We will see all of you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you soon.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.